what's up, guys? My name is GLOCO, and welcome back to the letter. It's been such a long time. How many months has it been? 3-4 months since our last episode. Holy shit. And by the way, this will be my first time live streaming this episode, or whatever you're watching right now. Okay, so for the YouTube peeps watching, say hello to the Twitch peeps, say hello to the YouTube peeps while you guys still can. So, where did we left? Oh, fuck, I totally forgot. I'm pretty sure we're now in Ashton's chapter, about to start Ashton's chapter. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. A lot of you guys have been requesting me to continue this. I had plans to continue this, but I just didn't have the time. Okay, but we were just done streaming The Inpatient. It was another horror game. So, we still have time till, you know, it's still early in the night, so might as well play the letter, right? So here we go, guys. Whatever part this is in YouTube, enjoy. Twitch peeps, I'm gonna disable the sealer chat now. There you guys go. And here we go, boys. Continue. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ashton's. Oh, yeah, here's it. Alright, here we go. So, if I remember correctly, it was, whose chapter was it last time? It was, Rebecca, right? Rebecca's chapter. And I'm pretty sure she survived. So, we're now in Ashton, and his story starts off here in the, I think in the, what do you call it, housewarming party, I think? I'm not sure. We'll see. Here we go. So, parties have never been really my thing. They're always such a hassle and take so much time of my day. Prior plans and commitments cancelled, all for the sake of playing along with others.
Welcome,
oh, what
welcome
the fuck?
everyone.
With lag. Oh, welcome everyone. Oh shit, All right, I hated them even as a child.
Please make yourselves at home.
Wow, the voice is so loud. But mom often insisted she'd slick my hair back, put me in one of those stuffy dinner jackets, and if there were any children around, urged me to make friends. Never mind how utterly loud or tedious it was all for the sake of keeping up appearances. To some extent, lies have already surrounded me, long before I've chosen what I wanted to do with my life. Luckily, there were easy ways to tune everything out, and much to my mom's frustration, I always managed to sneak my CD player along. Kept to myself and to my music, had my own little world, until I learned to observe. It's a simple matter of awareness, really, and for someone with keen eyes, a skewed necktie or a simple flick of a wrist alone could tell volumes about a person. I still don't like parties, especially one as big as the Wright's housewarming. However, when there's actual reason to go to them, I figure they're not too bad.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Oh yeah, okay. Besides, like it or not, it's all part of the job. I'm here on a mission. Shirley is his car. He named him Shirley. I don't know. One that has the name Luke Wright plastered all over it. You'd think the man would want to remain inconspicuous after his name was linked to several high-profile crimes across Luxburn. So that's why Ash is all up his ass. I mean, Luke's ass. There must be something about Luke, you know. Where is he getting all that wealth? It must be from some shady business. Am I right, guys? Let's see. Granted, most of it have gone cold over the years, having stagnated without any lead or evidence, but that still doesn't make him any less a suspect. Yet, here he is, throwing a party in his own backyard. Although, having observed the man this past year, I'm not even shocked. He craves it. The damn spotlight. Constantly yearns for attention like a neglected puppy. Doesn't take a genius to figure out why he's nowhere to be found in his own party. But that's not the problem here. What pisses me off is how far his reach extends. How close he has creeped into the lives of the people I care about. Again, like a stubborn itch you couldn't be rid of. First, Professor Clark. Then there's Isabella. And I also spotted Z-Man here a while ago. And now there's also little Becky here.
Can't you at least act with a bit more shame?
What is with that? Ah! Did they speak this loud before? God damn it. Wait a moment, what's up with my... Oh shit. Character volumes, Jesus Christ. Can you guys tune it down a little? There you go.
Becca, if I find a single scratch on Shirley, there will be hell to pay.
Aw, so let me get there. There will also be hell to pay if he so much as harms a hair on either Zach's or Rebecca's heads. Worrying about Isabella's brief dealings with him is stressing in itself already. I doubt he'll attempt anything in front of other people, though. It will tarnish his glorious reputation, and he values appearances more than anything. That doesn't necessarily mean he isn't capable of it. More than in fact, and and on the off chance he does something, I wouldn't be responsible for my actions.
Those guys know what they're doing. They're handling cars worth more than your precious Shirley.
Touché. For Zachary's and Rebecca's sakes, however, I really hope this will simply be another housewarming party. Even though something tells me it's anything but. Call it the detective's intuition or whatever. When Luke Wright's involved, nothing good has ever come out of it. I can't let my guard down here. Even more so when a familiar car slows to a stop and out comes...
Chief?
Chief. My presence here might be odd, but, well, at best, but I have an excuse. One that this man handed to me himself a year ago, along with a heavy dose of flattery for the newly promoted detective inspector. Can't exactly say the same for my good old boss, can I? Although, to see him here, chatting it up with Luxborn's rich and famous, isn't such a big surprise in itself. No disrespect meant, but the guy is obviously a social climber. What is surprising is the fact that he seems all too eager to mingle with a person of interest. Wife. Okay. Just what the hell is he doing here?
Ashton, what's...
Sorry, Becca, I just saw someone I need to catch up with. Longtime friend.
What the shit is going on here?
Oh, wait, Ash, what about...
This won't be long. Be careful while I'm gone, okay?
Hey, be careful! About what exact...
I don't want to draw attention to myself either. At least, not until he's given me a proper reason to spoil his little party.
Thank you for the invite, Anna.
Oh yeah, I miss his fucking voice. Oh.
Husband still missing, I see.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again.
For now, the best I can do is wait and remain inconspicuous, especially with Chief here, whose motives are dubious at best. If it means having to pretend I don't know Zach and Rebecca or forcing myself to rub elbows with people I barely know, let alone, then so be it. I can't involve anyone. Wandering is out of the question as well. When there are guards and CVE stationed here and there, sure, getting past them is something I could do with ease, but I'd rather not right now, when I'm one of the few snooping and roaming about. It'd be best to try and do so once there's a crowd of people. And if their interior designer's drunken claims are to be believed...
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's around.
What's with that tone, Chief?
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing.
It's all come down to how well I will play my cards tonight. With a good hand, this party is going to give me the breakthrough I need to crack Luke right, or something to prove my suspicions wrong. Maybe find out what kind of game my boss is also playing. I've had an inkling before, a few hunches tempered down by how much of a bumbling fool the man appears. But one does not simply deal with the rights and get invited to a party they host without wanting anything from either of the two. Or it's the other way around. So, with a last wary glance at the two, I head into the ballroom. I just hope this will not complicate things further. Shit. By the time the party's in full swing, night has fallen. Yet, there still isn't a Luke Wright in sight. The man can be quite ostentatious, but this? Frankly, I'm impressed. I don't even know how many hors d'oeuvres I've already stuffed my face with. One too many, probably. The servers are already giving me a stink eye every time I saunter over the buffet table. Blame your employer, not me. He's the one who has the guts to show up late. Besides, most of the guests' idle talk is concentrated in this area. Despite standing in the same roof with the very people they're whispering about, some just couldn't resist. I might as well keep an ear out for any useful info.
Is Suarez still fixing that tech problem?
Sorry.
Tech problem?
Crack problem. I'm so rich.
It's been 3 years. Sooner or later, the Blighter will put 2 and 2 together.
He might have already.
If the red tape I'm being slammed with these past few months is just anything, that or someone has been pulling the strings. I wouldn't be shocked. This case would not have gone this long if Scumbag didn't have a mule of some kind in the force.
Shush you, we all know Suarez just wants an out.
I knew he was bad news the day the merger with Evans Incorporated happened. Fair.
Glad I did not have to deal with that. But keep it down, someone might hear. The wife especially.
This kind of negligence has always been the advantage. But sometimes I wish I could have smashed Doc while doing this. What is up with those accents, man? Having sharp ears also means you get to hear the most unsavory things. Who cheated on who this week? One person's motive for bashing someone's skull against a wall, or a father's excuse for burning his own daughter alive. You know, this sort of stuff. After a few years, it gets tiring. You get desensitized to it. But humans could also be downright awful. Sometimes there simply isn't enough brain bleach in the world. Sadly, the wine is a no-go tonight, and mostly for show. I'm up for another drive later for one, and I definitely want to be sober in case anything comes. Who gets drunk with freaking wine? I've drank a lot of wine in my days, but I never really get drunk with it. Quite tasty though. And something always comes up in assignments like this. A detective inspector dying of cardiac arrest, for example. Because I can feel the moment my heart grinds to a halt the second I shift my eyes to a corner of the ballroom.
Hana right.
There you go. Some will say I'm acting a touch bit paranoid, and maybe I am. This is a party and she's the hostess. Goes to say that she'd take time to mingle with her guests. But Hannah Wright's New Evans isn't without her fair share of accolades. At least to the public, she doesn't seem like it. Unlike her husband, she's the one with a business sense, not to mention the impressive track record needed to manage a company. Or effectively hide whatever irregularity there might be. She's clean, as far as my agents and I have found, but it doesn't rule out a possible involvement with whatever her husband's up to. Hell, Luke Wright came out clean in previous reports, until I bothered to take a deeper look into it. What I've found may not be sufficient to bring anyone to trial yet, but it's enough to nurture suspicion. This may be a bit of an overreaction, but no one lasts long in my line of work by being careless.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Hell, you guys freaking wear the same outfit every freaking day. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Nothing to be worried about then. She's probably even more careful with appearances than her own husband, having grown up with a spotlight focused on her. Yet, even knowing that, the anxiety stays. Has been here since the party started. I brushed it off earlier. Wouldn't feel edgy, right? I've gone undercover in a party hosted by the very person I'm investigating. That in itself is risky and has plenty of rooms for error. Usually, though, the tension passes around the first half hour or so. I've been trained to remain composed in situations like this. However, with each second I spend here, it only grows heavier and seeks to overwhelm. An odd feeling that something is watching me instead. Oh? So is this the first time Ashton is feeling some presence from that ghost bitch? It has been like this since last week, but I should already be used to this. People will be looking at me no matter how small or big of a blip I am on the radar. That's what they do in these things. But when the feeling is of, when the feeling of ice burning into my back lingers longer than necessary, I've been looking around every now and then to catch that culprit. No luck. And despite my efforts to push the sensation as far down as I could, tiny pinpricks continue to sting the back of my head, and the ghost of a cold touch creeps up my limbs. Ugh, until my gaze switches back to Rebecca and Hannah Wright. She stands there, dark-haired and dirty, sticking out like a sore thumb. Even so, no one seems to notice. Although she's looking away from me, her mere existence here strikes, disturbs. A sense of tunnel vision binds while I stand stock still and gape at her, like my life depends on making sure she stays where she is. I feel trapped in her presence, until another guest bumps into me, yanking me out of my stupor. Only then do I realize that I've been holding my breath. Oh, hell yeah! Before I can figure out what happened, she's gone. A quick scan of the room yields no sign of her. The party continues as if nothing's amiss. So Ashton has seen the ghost bitch. Or maybe this is the first time he's seen her. Alright. I'm not really one to judge, but I'm sure someone like that will not have been allowed in a fancy thing like this. What has the security been doing? Are they really that incompetent? For someone so distinct to easily get in without notice? There should have been, there should have been an outcry by now, particularly from the host. She's been standing almost on arm's length away from the woman, and yet she simply continues her talk with Rebecca.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
Oh man, I really miss Hannah Wright's, voice. So calming and so nice.
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way.
Is there's something in the food then that I'm starting to see things? It couldn't have been the wine though. I'm every bit as sober as as when I first stepped off my car. The hors d'oeuvre? Why would anyone want to do that? Why would Luke Wright want to do that? It's fishy, but I couldn't see why he'd ever think it'd be a good idea to lace the food he'd serve in his party with someone like Chief Lee on his guest list to boot. Yeah, it's been linked to narcotics trade, yeah, but however, that kind of tactic is below him. Not much I could tell. Unless there's a mass murder waiting to happen here tonight, which I highly doubt. So...
What the fuck was that?
I know, right? What the fuck was that, dude? Yeah, I know, right? You little shit. But there's no time to look deeper into this, even if I want to. Not when a telling silence comes upon the room and draws everybody's attention to the main doors of the ballroom.
About damn time.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party?
I miss Luke's voice as well.
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the Wright Mansion.
I've been tailing this guy for a while now. Before that, I heard stories from previous officers who tackled his case, none of which are pleasant. Mind, I'm not counting the incident with Professor Clark yet. Pleasant is glossing over the gravity of it. While Wright's good at covering whatever shady stuff he's doing, he's shown to be a really rotten guy. At least, that's the case when he thinks none of his peers are around to judge him. I've lost track of how many counts of verbal abuse and harassment cases the guy could be pinned with. Standing in the same room as him doesn't make me want to punch him any less. Well, actually, the urge is stronger, but protocols, my case first and foremost. My own opinion of the man shouldn't get ahead of my purpose here. If I want to put him in his place, it should be in court, with all the proper charges filed against him. And I'll only be able to do that once I gather enough evidence to pin this bastard down.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode.
You are kings, and I'm your king, and you are the knights and the ladies and the...
Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are our ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen. If you would excuse my presumptuousness.
Yeah, I remember him saying that over and over again in different chapters.
So enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses, as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.
Suppressing my annoyance, I prepare to step away from the crowd. Amid the cheers and claps, now is as good a time as any to move. Try to find that something the McCulloch woman talked about. In the first place, I have no plans to actually shake hands with the slime ball himself. A fake smile is plastered on my face while I pretend to listen to one of the other guests gossiping about him, all while slowly inching out of the ballroom. Unfortunately, before I could get any further...
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle?
Oh, the scandal. Yep. Oh!
Perhaps you need to sit down and...
Rich people only have two ways to resolve this mess. Either they quietly deal with it behind closed doors, or they create an even greater problem out of it. And it just blows up in everybody's faces, one way or another. Fun!
No! Shut it, you monster! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here!
Typical Filipino drama right here, guys. Yeah, I told you it's made by Filipinos.
You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
Not even a few seconds in, and this is already proving itself to be a big public spectacle. Why spend money on a television to buy daytime soap operas when you could just go to one of these parties and see the auction unfold in real life? You get free food too. Really, if I were an actual guest, I'd just take this as some sordid form of amusement.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
But I'm not a guest who's here for a good time. I need to focus on him, even though this whole sorry tale even through. So I wait, I listen, I observe. Interesting, isn't it, though? That's the chief inspector's wife. Nani? Ah, it's over. October 29, Saturday. The morning after starts off quiet. Even the whole of Salemwell residences seems unusually still. The open hallway, when I step out, is devoid of tenants. No sounds coming from the other units either. It's almost as if something's brewing on the horizon. A peaceful night's of sleep still does wonders for the mood though, and I can't even remember the last time I full slept without anything urgent interrupting. It's a nice break from all the bad news lately. If it weren't for the insistent buzzing in my pocket waking me up, I'd sleep in. The ringing has stopped before I could move somewhere private, but sleep has also been effectively kicked out of my system by then. Pity. I could use a little more rest until I have to face the other storm. Of course, I owe Rebecca an explanation. It doesn't matter if it's the whole truth or another hastily spun tale. Although, I haven't really figured out how to go about this yet. Unlike Zach and Isabella, who don't usually ask questions and are content with what little I could share, Rebecca's rather quick on the trigger. It will have to be set aside for later, though.
Sup, I'm Ash from Deluxe City. Baggers, watch out.
Freaking
Can't beat me.
ringtone.
Looking for trouble? Better not lie. I'm a cool dude. Pretty
Fly from the Asian guy. The chief's name stares back at me almost as if it's mocking me. Sad. It would have been nice to just chill after last night or maybe have listened to the news. Sure, it's the same thing we've been hearing lately. Still beats standing outside and shut the fuck up! Oh my god! Trying to read here. On the phone with my boss. Sighing, I answer it, if only to get this over with.
Where are you right now?
Well, now that's a tone I didn't expect from him at this hour. Just thinking how this will go already gives me a headache. Immediately, I reach up and pinch the bridge of my nose to stave it off.
This is why I won't ever drink myself senseless.
What was that?
Nothing, Chief. A pleasant morning to you too.
He's probably calling to rag on me or complain about his wife, which is really none of my business unless it affects my case. It seems like the usual rich man cheats on wife deal. Although I would have followed up on it if it were somebody else's wife. But figuring it's the chief's, hey, I trust him to come clean if the missus is related to the right's shady dealings. This is why I left before they even hauled the woman out last night. I'm not going to go around investigating cheating husbands and wives when it's probably just that. Chief appears to have a different idea in mind, though.
There's nothing pleasant in the morning. Anyway, where are you? I told you millions of times before to keep your lines open.
Well, he did, and not only him. Zach, Rebecca, Isabella, all of them have said the same thing numerous times in the past. But I was undercover last night. A phone call is the last thing I want to happen when there are other things I need to focus on at that time. Besides, we have radios and work-issued phones. Why isn't he using those channels if this is urgent?
Just woke up, sir. As awesome as it is to hear your voice this morning, it really is early. If you could give me a few minutes just to wake myself up, that'd be swell.
No need for that. This won't take long.
Is something wrong? Am I needed at the precinct ASAP?
Oh no, everything's good over there. Just... Look, kid. Frey. Don't take this personally, alright? You're off the Luxborn firm case. Starting today.
Oh shit. Well, I did not expect to hear that either. This must be some kind of cosmic joke. I allow some awkward seconds to pass and Chief must be pulling another one of his awful pranks. Out of his bad mood or a severe hangover maybe? Everyone knows that when given the chance, he exercises no control with his drinking. If it wasn't for his wife causing a stir, he'd probably be trashed and RN'd at the party. He likely drank more after they threw her out of the ballroom. Besides, his sense of humor has never been good. It's just infuriating most of the time. But when he doesn't follow it up, if I sound a tiny bit frustrated speaking to my own superior, I'm not the one to blame.
Wait, no. What? Are you kidding, Chief? Is this one of your practical jokes again? The Temps won't say anything about it, but
It's not that. They're orders. From the higher-ups.
No. The higher-ups. Yes, my favorite word. Since when did the higher-ups ever cared about what the Criminal Investigation Department did? As far as I could tell, they don't give a hoot if CID is filled with cold cases, as long as we keep the spending low. They need to view those old cases files, though. They're locked away in the archives. You're gonna have to check with the higher-ups. I need access to these reports. I need access to the reports, right? See if the higher-ups would allow it. Every step, every move in the case, there isn't one that hasn't been gated by some authority. If it's not the chief, it's a commissioner, or so they always tell me. It makes one wonder why they even bothered assigning it to anyone. Not a single one of them has done anything to help me move the case. And they wonder why it has taken this long for even a hint of progress to show?
you can't just drop this on me. You can't just take me off like that.
Oh, yes, they can, Ashton. It's the higher-ups.
Yes, I can. And I'm sorry, Ashton. You're a good detective. One of the best I've seen in years, but...
3 years, Chief. 3 years.
3 years since that anonymous tech leak blew up. Since Luke Wright's name was openly linked to several nasty dealings within Luxborn's corporate world, some of them involving deaths? 3 years and I was the only one who made it this far. Made much progress that officers with much more experience weren't able to do when they handled this case. Just within a year, and with barely any help from the damn brass at that. Of course I'll be pissed.
Do you know what would have happened if I didn't work my ass off on this thing? If I didn't dedicate a whole year of my time on it, it would have gone cold, like every fucking case Luke Wright has been linked to. I saved this from getting thrown into the archives, sir. I'm getting close. If you could just...
I'm fully aware of what you've done, Frey. But the Commissioner hasn't been happy with your progress. Still too slow by their standards.
Oh, that what?
Too slow?
I know, right?
Well, what about those reports I filed? I've documented every freaking thing for them. I've given you every important lead I can gather. Isn't that enough?
They need results, not a bunch of research papers. Not one baseless assumption after another. Concrete proof, Frey. I'm really sorry. They've already made a decision. They're going to pass this on to someone who's been in the force longer. Someone who has more experience.
Whew, what the fuck?
Someone who has more experience?
They meant nothing by it, but you're still too young to work on a case this big.
Bullshit!
Chief, I've already done more than what those old farts ever did behind their desks. All of it, within just a year of being assigned to this.
Watch your language, Frey. Those are your superiors,
I'm not some damn rookie fresh out of training. I'm as qualified as they are.
Futile. I know it is. They'd never say it within my earshot, but from the very minute I stepped in their precinct, the lot of them had underestimated me. From their stares alone, to the assignments I get. To them, I'm still just a kid. Too young, too green, too inexperienced. Once they pull that card on me, every argument I have gets thrown out the window. No matter how logical it is, how much I've accomplished, what the record says, or the amount of work I've put in every investigation they've thrown my way.
We're all aware of your skills, kid. You wouldn't have that badge and rank if you weren't good enough. However, this case is just not for you. Too high profile, too risky to put a good officer like you in harm's way.
Bullshit! Can he even hear himself? That reasoning is odd in itself. No one joins this line of work without knowing the dangers of it.
Don't I get a second chance? You said it yourself. I'm a good detective. It'll just be a matter of time before we can close this.
It doesn't matter what I think, Frey. You're off the case, and that's final. I expect all related files and documents on my desk by Monday morning. And don't even try to go touch anything. I know how hard-headed and determined you are.
Chief, please. A few more weeks. I'll have the proper evidence left on your desk by then. I swear it won't take longer than that.
Fred, it's too late, boy. I've already informed the other officers. You aren't to be allowed access until you've been given a new assignment. Hell, just keep out of the precinct, Frey. Take the weekend off.
Seriously, Chief, is this about last night? If this is about me being at that party, I have a good reason for...
You were at the party.
It makes me pause. His wary tone, the sudden careful note in his voice. Slowly, a frown forms in my face, my eyebrows knitting together in confusion. Much as I hate to say this about my own boss, there's also suspicion in it. Hard not to think of it that way, seeing how he acted around Hannah Wright last night. Is he worried? Why should he be? Everyone who's anyone was invited. I didn't doubt for a second why he received an invite, even if his presence was questionable. There's something wrong, and I've unintentionally walked into it. All I have is this sneaking suspicion. But when one looks at this if one looks at this from a different angle, put everything together. Why the hell I've been taken off this case might be for the same reason he was there in the first place. Fuck!
Yes, Chief, I was. For a good reason. A friend invited me to go with her. What were you doing there? I know we don't have a strict rule against attending functions, but that was...
He coughs, and it almost sounds like he's choking on his own excuses? Lies? I don't want to excuse him of anything yet, but he's someone I've respected since I joined LPD, even with his bizarre sense of humor and tendency to procrastinate. He's obviously competent enough to get the job done. He wouldn't be Chief Inspector of Luxburn Police if he wasn't. He wouldn't last years in the service without some track record backing him. Unless that, too, is a fluke? And what's backing him is not something, but someone. Oh shit. Oh fucking hell, dude. Oh shit. Fucking shit.
Chief Harvey, about last night with the...
Why does it matter, Frey? This isn't about that.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? I'll recite the whole damn oath we've taken upon being sworn into service if I can, but at this point, it seems too late to remind him of that. He has probably already moved from serving and protecting people to serving and protecting his own interests. Damn it. I've suspected the upper brass of this, even the lower rank subordinates in the force, but from my own boss? Shit. No wonder that leak didn't lead anywhere. Someone closer might have been pulling the strings, and I might have been set up to fail long before the fucking case has been assigned to me. Yeah. Guess we found our mule, boys. But I don't want us, I don't want to just give this up. I don't want to believe I've wasted an entire year for this. I don't want this to be the kind of news to tell Professor Clark after all those promises I've given the man.
I just want to know, sir, at the party, with Luke and Hannah Wright, you were...
Monday, Detective Inspector. First thing in the morning. Every copy of the files you have, I want to see it all on my table. Understood?
This isn't...
Frey, am I understood?
What else can I do other than smile and nod? Is my own superior expecting an answer, using that tone, brushing my questions off as easy as discarding a dead body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He cuts the line as soon as the words are out. You're off the case, Frey. Just like that. Funny, why this still caught me off guard. I've discovered years ago how different the actual thing is. How far from reality everything I've believed in as a dreamy-eyed kid. There are no high-speed pursuits every day, no thrilling gunfights, or exciting cases every step of the way. Only paperwork, lots of red tape, and dealing with the politics and bureaucracy. I've set out to change things, hoping it will make things better for the people I care about. It ended up changing me instead. Serves me right for being too idealistic, I guess. This is probably the universe telling me that it's better to remain the skeptic I really am. Now here I am, standing, useless. Can't even do anything but grit my teeth and kick the wall. The bastard didn't even acknowledge my response.
What did the poor wall ever do to you?
Oh, Rebecca. It figures Rebecca will be the one to find me in this embarrassing state. Honestly, I don't like it when she sees me like this, which seems to happen a lot, regardless of what I want.
Rebecca, now's not a good time.
The concern I expect from her when I turn isn't there, however. Instead, she just looks, well, the storm I left brewing last night, it's right there on her face, ready to be unleashed.
When is it ever a good time for you? You're always so busy with everything now. Now I find you here, sneaking out without even bothering with a proper goodbye. Not even a word. Really, I'm starting to think you're just keeping me around for my couch and my cooking.
Becca, it's not what you're thinking. I wasn't planning on sneaking out. I was going to say goodbye. I just had to take this call. Although I'm not gonna lie, couch is great. 10 out of 10, would sleep again.
Stop it with the jokes, Ashton. I'm not in the mood.
Oh yeah, they spent the night together. Not in the way you guys are thinking, but yeah, they did, you know. Her bitterness is not lost on me, but at this point, our friendship in our lives, you know, how does she still expect me to answer that? What am I supposed to tell her now?
Are you still mad about last night?
She merely raises an eyebrow at me, which, to be honest, is all the response I need. Seeing her like this makes me believe those things Zeman says. The part where Rebecca scares him, sometimes. Yeah. I've certainly seen this more than once already, but the familiarity of it doesn't really take away from the downhill turn this conversation's starting to take. Only an awkward serves as a way to stall.
Okay, of course you're still mad. But whatever happened last night, I really am sorry. I'll apologize as many times as you want.
What did happen last night?
If you want, I'd even kneel or something.
Ashton, an apology is nice and all, but that's not what I wanted to hear from you today.
Alright, fine, okay. Where do you want to start?
Oh, I don't know. I've honestly lost track of it by your third trip to the buffet table.
Oh yeah, they were supposed to spend the party together, but then Ashton fucking went away. I mean, away from Rebecca during the party so that he can do his investigations and shit. I don't know. That pissed off Becca.
I wasn't... The drive up there took a bit. Can you blame me if I wanted to grab some appetizers?
Oh, come on, Ash! For the whole evening? For the whole party? Please don't tell me that's all you did, because I've never known you as someone who pigs out. You even took great lengths to avoid me. Should I also mention how you ignored Zach? Sometimes I get the feeling you don't want to be seen with us in public. Some friendship, huh?
You know it's not like that. It's never going to be like that, Becca. I was...
Maybe you even just used me to get into the party. You said yes to being my +1, but you were rather excited to just peel yourself off, weren't you? Honestly, I'm feeling a bit used.
I couldn't even look her in the eye. It wasn't that I lied to her. I honestly wanted to be there to keep Zach safe, to keep Rebecca safe. Just in case. Client or family friend, it was still a party hosted by a person of interest, by a man accused years ago of murdering a person's wife to get what he wanted. But then Chief showed up, and the right happened, and then Luke Wright just couldn't be bothered to die peacefully somewhere. All of a sudden, none of my original reasons mattered. If I was found out right then and there, hell, if Zach and Rebecca's connection with me was found out, who knows what might have happened. But Rebecca doesn't understand that. Doesn't understand what I can and can't say to keep them from harm. It's all in her eyes, in the tight line of her lips and her furrowed brows. The hurt.
I'll ask this again. Just what were you up to during the party? What were you doing that you couldn't even take 2 seconds to make time for your friends?
Well, this day is just off to a wonderful start. First my case, and then now Becca? How do I even go about this? Stretch the truth? I can't stretch this truth. I need to fuck! If I stretch the truth, it means I'm just gonna lie again. Should I? Insist it's in fucking hell, dude.
It's
Fuck.
confidential, Rebecca.
I'm gonna answer like a fucking detective. It's confidential. Okay, Rebecca. I wonder how many times I've told her that. And not just her, my dad, my mom, Zach, and even Isabella. How many times have I told them what essentially boiled down to mind your own business, to make sure they're all safe, to keep them out of danger? My job isn't a game. It isn't as glamorous as the television portrays it to be. I had thought so too as a child. I was so clueless back then, wasn't I? But boy, did I learn. The good guys don't always win. Justice isn't always served. An investigation is not looking at the crime scene once to get a eureka moment. It's sleepless nights at the crime lab with the tech guys. It's several days wearing the same clothes with Chinese takeout stains because I'm staking out at the place. It's frustration when bureaucracy hinders you from looking into a case any further, or when you know the suspect is guilty but they get away scot-free on a technicality. That happens a lot in real life. That's fucked up. It's seeing anger and pain and despair with every case.
I know you have a mountain of questions, but I've told you this so many times before. I can't say much more than that.
Still, the look on Rebecca's face, the resentment and the pain, it hurts me as well to think that I'm the cause of that. It's a familiar one too, something I've seen a lot over the years. I wonder how long it will take before Zach starts giving me the same one. Or until I've hurt Isabella in a way that any sincere apology won't even be enough. What a mess. I'm a mess, and it's the people close to me who have to suffer for it.
Official police business, huh? So you did use me?
It's not like Pekka used. The way she utters it just makes me feel like a total scumbag. It's not like I did it all on purpose, you know, but I can't just hold someone else responsible for this, right? Who am I going to blame? The chief? Hannah Wright? Luke Wright? Doing so feels like cowardice. It doesn't change the fact that I'm the one who put us in this situation. Couldn't even look at her anymore with this guilt eating me up inside. But then she laughs. Half-hearted with barely a hint of cheer in it, but it's a laugh nevertheless. I honestly don't know what to make of that, what to do with myself upon hearing that. It's almost like the mere sound of it is meant to pierce, you know. Oh, little Becky, you're so nice.
The least you could have done is tell me. Maybe I could have helped, kept an ear and an eye out for you.
Aww.
I don't know. I could have been Irene Adler, maybe?
Whoever that is. Her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes, but the mask, she tries so hard for me, and yet you don't fucking look at her the same way she looks at you. Fuck you, Ash. Should have went for Rebecca instead. But no, you gotta go with the freaking cute Filipino girl. Fuck you, Ash. I give her a smile of my own, though. I imagine it comes off as an unenthusiastic as hers. It's far easier to slip back to banter when it's like this. Just brush off everything. At least this way, we wouldn't have to deal with awful things.
The woman? Don't flatter yourself. Nancy Blue, more like.
Her sidekick would beg to differ, Ashette.
Couldn't stop a wry grin from forming in my lips. She probably still has the photo from that contest. Keeps it in her old diary. Never did find either of the two after I threatened to burn them. In the end, I just never brought it up again, hoping hoping she'd just forget about the whole thing. But the small smile on her face says a lot. Those were good times. A lot simpler, a lot more peaceful. Now things have changed. We're no longer the same people we were as kids. Growing up together doesn't mean it always has to be just the two of us in the first place. It's a dumb notion to believe in when nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change through the years. In fact, it already has. Long ago. Not just with the people we allowed into our respective lives, but also with us, as people, as friends. It really does get complicated as we get older, doesn't it? Not everything has to be, though. Even if it's in the form of a promise, I have no idea when I'll be able to fulfill.
I swear, I'll explain when it's all over.
The silence afterward brings an even heavier air between us. Something that Rebecca, thankfully, doesn't allow to linger more than necessary.
I suppose you have to go now, huh?
Yes. The situation's already awkward as it is. Dragging this out will only make it more... what? Difficult? Messed up? As if it isn't already.
Back to your case again?
Yeah, I don't really have to. I have no case as far as the job is concerned. I have the weekend off until I have to report to Chief on Monday. Although, I don't want to just throw in the towel on this. Orders are orders. But this isn't like the movies. I don't get to say, fuck off, throw my gun and badge at him, become some vigilante, save the day, and get my job back. I'd rather get my ass thrown in jail than do any of that. But it's also not in my nature to sit still and do nothing. It will drive me crazy if I just idle about. Besides, there's someone who has to know about this whole look right thing.
Yeah, I need to go talk to Professor Clark. And there's something else I need to look into.
Nice. That other matter she mentioned last night specifically? Things even the news have been blasting out to the general populace lately. Evening after afternoon, morning, all deaths with the same modus, blamed on a single serial killer. Or is it still the case?
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxborn police.
We're grasping at straws as far as these murders are concerned. In the first place, I'm not even the one heading this investigation, yet look at me treating it as if it's another high-profile case on my shoulder. How sad is that? Although all three of my friends have mentioned seeing something strange. I don't want to go into that line of thinking for now. Not yet. Not until I've exhausted every logical argument I could throw at it. To be honest though, I don't know how to take all of this anymore. But I've already given Isabella my word. It'd bother me more if I didn't follow up on a promise I made to her. And after Rebecca's claims last night, there won't be enough sarcasm in the world if what my friends have been telling me is true. I can already hear Isabella's laughter, in fact.
Figures. What else can it be?
It's not another case. It's something else. That issue Isabella mentioned yesterday morning. I'm sure you remember. You were there.
Well, at least you're not neglecting all your friends.
Becca, I promised her I'll...
She doesn't wait for me to finish. With a roll of her eyes, she turned around and shuts the door in my face. Oh, Becca. Yeah, you tsundere. You jealous little girl. Really complicated. Talking about love. Okay. I have no idea what I've said this time, but... Oh, you fucking dense motherfucker.
I probably deserve that.
Yes, you do. We'll just have to fix this some other time. By then, her temper's sure to have cooled off significantly. Hopefully. For now, I can't laze around. Gonna attend to things that matter more. Professor Clark first, deliver the bad news, and that issue with a BRC and Isabella. Maybe I'll also drop by Zach's. Check on him. Hear what he has to say. He has also read that damn letter. I might as well, while I'm here, playing a paranormal detective, or was it supernatural? I can't remember. Whatever. It wouldn't hurt anyone if I tried to get to the bottom of this. If nothing comes out of this Good. Everyone can just shut up about stupid curses and we can finally get back on track with our lives. On to more important stuff. If there is something...
Are you two done?
There's a moment of confusion when I don't see her familiar ponytail about, only to find her standing behind the door to her apartment seconds later. Isabella holds it open, though only slightly, as if to hide from anyone who might happen to pass by. This early and on a lazy weekend, I doubt anyone will. But from the gap and what little light there is behind her, I could make out the appearance of someone who has just clearly gotten off from bed. Hair in complete disarray, eyes still heavy with sleep, and a small pout on her lips. She hasn't even gotten out of her pajamas. I look away long before my sense of decorum kicks in. We might be friends. I'll even dare say we've grown closer over the years, but that doesn't extend beyond the bounds of propriety. Christ, even Rebecca never greets early visitors in her sleep clothes. What's wrong with looking at pajamas? So maybe it's our fault why she's up this early. Still, heat makes a slow crawl up my neck, one that I quickly downplay with a solid cuff.
Isabella, you're up early.
Isabella, I see you're in your pajamas. Lame.
No, I'm not. I'm usually up at this hour.
Oh, we're not
You're the one that usually sucks at getting up early.
We're not gonna see a different art of her pajamas. Oh man, I really wanted to see her in her pajamas. Oh, well.
Says the person who looks like she's just fallen out of bed.
Instead of the usual quip, she simply averts her gaze to some point beside her, and although it only flashes briefly across her face, an expression of hurt flickers in her eyes. It disappears the second she turns her attention back to me, but that moment has sent a worried twinge in my stomach. I've seen it on her plenty of times before, just never in a manner that unsettles. It feels, I don't know, off this time. I didn't say anything wrong, did I?
Hey, are you...
Anyway, was that Becca with you? You both sound like Mama and Papa when they fight. You're awfully loud.
Typical Filipino husband and wife, eh?
If we get another memo from the landlady, I'm asking the guard to ban you from ever entering this place.
Me? Becca's the one almost shouting.
Yeah, well, she lives here. You don't.
True.
You have no excuse. You're the suspicious-looking person.
Thanks. Glad at least one person appreciates how I pretty up this place.
Don't flatter yourself. This place would be so much better without having to see your face every few days.
She follows it up with another pout. But her ruffled appearance, particularly how puffy her eyes are, I noticed just now, takes away from the intimidating effect she's trying to show. Really, right now she just looks more like an angry puppy. I might have laughed had it not given me another nagging sense that something is definitely wrong with her. What? Has she been crying earlier? That is worrying. She rarely does that. The only time it happened, the one time I've ever seen her genuinely tear up over something, I think it was after Devlin Court, the night at the bridge. Yeah, I want to ask. She seems determined to keep it to herself, though.
Belle, did something...
About yesterday, Ash. The things we talked about. Do you think we can take a look at it today?
We? I never said you're coming with me. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. You'll be the first to know if I find anything.
No, I want to go with you. I'll be ready in a few. This won't take long.
Isabella, you really don't have to. I can handle it on my own.
I won't get in the way, I promise. Besides, maybe I can help. You know, if there are files you want to check.
I don't like what she's implying. It's true, LPD's having a hard time with this, but taking Isabella with me, it's out of the question. Under normal circumstances.
You're the one who's going to get in trouble if you do that.
You said it yourself. You need information, and I can help you get that.
Okay.
And it's not like it matters anymore. I just don't want to stand around doing nothing today.
There it is again. The slight shift in her eyes, the mild crease forming between her eyebrows, and the mild slump in her shoulders while she crosses her arms tightly around herself. like she's shielding herself from whatever painful thing there is out there. I have plenty of reasons why I shouldn't let her tag along. First and foremost, she's a civilian. Second, I have no concrete plan of action yet. I'm going into this blind. No matter how I look at it, it's simply better for her to just wait so she won't drag, she won't drag into what might be another one of my failures. Her assumptions might be a dead end for all we know. But seeing that expression on hers, hearing her speak those words out loud in a desperate, almost pleading tone, I can't bring myself to say no. So I give in, because right there I see myself in her. The person who doesn't want to stay idle, who doesn't want to think of the problems haunting him.
All right, 5 minutes.
All right.
What? You're timing me?
Well, I can't wait forever. I'm a very busy guy. 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Isabella.
I hate you so much.
4 minutes and 30 seconds, 29, 28.
You cheesy bastard.
I'd hurry if I were you.
Ugh, you're awful. I hope you never get a girlfriend.
She slams the door right after, although my chuckles, the mirth and the lightness in it linger. With her, those have always come easy somehow, even as its echoes fade and only the ghost of a smile remains.
It's not like I'm looking for anyone else.
Woohoo! Lul. Gago pakyo ka. You suck. I want to tell her. It's not because I can't, but I won't. I'm the one who has chosen not to until I fixed myself, until I found myself underneath all that guilt and those lies I've been telling all these years. Poor Becca. Because no matter how heavy the weight of these feelings are, I am not yet worthy of them. Of her. Until then, little words and gestures are the only things I can offer. Minor stuff such as digging deeper into this thing with our BRC in order to ease her worries. I'm not even sure if this will give us anything. Unlike with the firm case, which I already have proper leads on, I'm just going by her word on this. Speaking of the Luxburn firm case, I still have to inform the professor. The apprehension's there for sure, and I've made a lot of promises to the man, and I would have preferred to tell him in person, not over the phone. But it's better for him to hear it from me rather from a stranger. The railings offer a steady support while I wait for him to answer. I'd like to think I can do this without losing my nerve. My grip on the bar surely tightens though once the call connects.
Ashton!
Not running today, Professor?
He's usually at the park on late Saturday mornings, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs. Keeps him young and healthy, he says, and he's certainly fit for a man of his age with a sedentary job.
Oh, no, not today.
He's definitely at the usual place, though. Cheers and laughter, likely from children and families, filter through the receiver, and I tend to avoid the park precisely because of this. No use reminding myself of the could-haves. Man, it's already over. Mom's doing well with her career. Dad's also fine the last time I visited, although neither remarried. They're both content with their lives as it is. Oh, so Ashton's parents are divorced. I see. I'm probably the only one still caught up with it, hence my aversion. But all in all, it's still a pleasant sight to see, if you're the kind who takes joy in such sights like Professor Clark does.
Just thought I'd enjoy the nice weather before it takes a turn for the norm again. And to what do I owe the pleasure?
The guy certainly seems happy right now, in any case. I almost don't want to break the news to him. But it's better to get this off quick as long as he doesn't shoot the messenger. He's not the type. However, long-held resentment can change a person. Even someone as mild-mannered as the professor.
I was hoping to talk to you about the case.
I suppose I'm just downer today. As soon as I say those words, he pauses, and the lightness in his voice is gone in an instant. Every time we've talked about this in the past, he does that. He's probably trying to gauge the situation based on the tone of my voice. Perhaps it's a good thing I'm delivering this news through the phone. Who knows what he'll see in my face and my mannerisms. The art of a keen observation. I learned it from the man. He probably already has an idea what this might be about from my manner of speaking alone.
You aren't in trouble, are you?
Well, for a second, I hesitate, looking at the dirt beneath my shoes. But I manage, eventually. After a long rag draw of breath, I pick up where I've left off, Zoe still fumbling with my words.
Well, I'm in a bit of trouble, if you can call it that.
Ashton,
He only assumes that tone when there's a reprimand at its heels.
But I'm not in danger or anything.
Yeah.
you've said that same excuse a million times before, Detective Inspector. That exhaustive rasp in your voice tells a different story.
It's
He knows
nothing
you
like
too
what
well.
you're thinking. Don't worry. I was just... I was taken off the Luxborn firm case.
I expect anger, frustration, maybe even disappointment. But all he gives me is a small sigh of relief.
Is that so? Well, at least you aren't in danger.
Aw, Professor
Liz wouldn't be
Clark.
too happy if she heard you right now.
Yeah, whoever that is. Liz. Aunt Liz. She insisted I call her his late wife. Oh, is that the wife that got murdered? Where Luke Wright was involved? Is that why? Yeah, I think so. If I was paying attention, I would know. A sweet-tempered woman by so many standards. They were never blessed with kids and contented herself with simply managing their bakery. But she's the closest I had to a mom in the few years I had known her. The professor, too. In the absence of my own parents in my life, the two feel the ache their divorce left in me.
Believe me, you'd get an earful. You don't want to show up on her doorstep looking like you haven't slept a wink either.
How many years has it been since? 9? 10? I can still remember it vividly. Two men, primly dressed, briefcases in hand, and a stern look on each of their faces. They were already frequent visitors to the bakery for a few months. Something about the lot being a prime property in downtown Luxburn. I think they were hoping to settle a deal with them, but neither of the couple gave in to their demands. Why should they? That quiet little shop was a dream for them. Aunt Liz sent me home early that night after a fruitless wait for the professor. The next morning, news of a bakery razed to the ground had spread across the whole city. One casualty. A few weeks later, the property was sold to Wright Enterprise. A fucking hotel now stands in its place. Oh shit. Of course, an investigation was launched after the incident. The name Luke Wright was briefly at the center of it. But with the lack of any evidence, the case ultimately went cold. Ah, damn. The professor hides it well, however, I can tell that he hates that man to this day. He might even blame Luke Wright for every tragedy that happens in the city. He has never blamed me though, when I'm as equally responsible. I knew something's off the moment those men stepped inside the shop. Could have saved her that night. Could have saved her, yeah. Could have prevented anything from happening to her. Called for help or whatever. I didn't. So it continues to eat me up until today. The guilt. The Luxborn firm case would have been our chance at reopening that old case if we could prove Luke Wright of his crimes. Instead, we're back to square one. Yet, all he has for me are words of comfort. To think he can still be this concerned about me, after my carelessness, after I've broken another promise a second time. People never cease to amaze me.
You might think that you have failed as an officer. Or maybe you think that you have failed me. And you know more than anyone. I would love to see that man taken down. If anyone deserves to be tried in high court, it's him. But I'm glad nothing's happened to you while you were working on this. That's what's most important. I'd hate to get news like that again.
Suddenly, he stops. I imagine a thoughtful look flashing in his eye as he sums the wedding band on his ring finger before he continues. Another habit. He has never removed it since that day, has never thought once to remarry, even when he managed to continue with his life and return to some semblance of normalcy. It's his way of honoring her, I suppose, when he couldn't bring to justice the man responsible for his loss. Some people are just hard to forget.
It's not like another death. Yours or even his will bring back my wife.
Silence falls between us afterwards. I don't quite know what to say after that, really. Should I apologize? Should I show some sympathy? Going into this, I should have thought of something other than just breaking the news to him. As it is, it seems the only thing we can do now is feel sorry for each other's misfortunes.
I apologize too for putting you up to this.
Another occasion under different circumstances, I might have accepted that, but...
You didn't have to, but you've already done more than any officer who has investigated this.
Oh.
So don't worry about this, old man. I know your department's people all have their hands full recently too. What with the upsetting news we've been getting as of late. Deaths almost every day. I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do with the other. It seems too big even for someone like him. But if this is that man's doing...
Professor, please.
Maybe if things around me hadn't started going beyond my control, the letter, the mansion, the supposed curse behind those, I'd still be quick to blame it all on that bastard too. But as much as I want to keep holding him responsible for it, to add another onto his list of sins, it might not be the case. Agreeing will only cut a deeper wound on the professor. I don't want him to keep clinging to this resentment for much longer. He has already gone through so many years of it. This kind of anger, it's the sort that blinds people. Despite his reassurances, the bitterness still seeps into every syllable he utters. It's one thing for me to act like this. It's painful to watch someone I've considered a second father to go down this path.
Please don't apologize. It's really all right. I can try to get it back on Monday when I meet with the chief. No promises, but if not, I'll make sure to keep an ear out for any news. Chief said he's passing it on to a senior officer. I should be able to catch a few tidbits every once in a while. But I swear I won't just give up on this. I'll do everything in my power to get Aunt Liz's case reopened for you.
Promises again, a bad habit at this point. Well, I wish I could do more for him. All this time, I've prided myself over being the one to always know. Because suddenly, aside from Wright and the murders plaguing the city, I have ghosts and curses to worry about. Things that are completely out my depth. Professor Clark's right in some way. Things will be so much easier if he just blamed Luke Wright for all of this. At least finding evidence will be a breeze, and I'd be all too happy to put him in a place he belongs. Although, if he was in any way also complicit to what's happening, legalities have my hands tied. But maybe that's my fault. I might have missed the ticket to closing the case once and for all last night, if only I had done a better job during the party. But then, the commotion. There was Hannah Wright and Rebecca distracting me from my purpose too. I'd include that gate crasher as well, even though it's only for a moment. So many things have gone wrong last night that...
This isn't a prank! I saw something!
Oh.
See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys!
Oh.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night. At the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw? It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
That woman.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Shit. If that was what Isabella had been warning us about, if it was the same thing Rebecca talked about last night, how many of these instances have I dismissed since reading the letter? How many have I ignored and passed off as some effect of fatigue or lack of sleep? Even last night, hallucinogen lacing the food is the first thing I considered, purely because that's what my training dictates. It's a mindset I've grown used to. It's a setting that gears in my head automatically takes in a situation like that. But of course, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have enough information. Something to form a conclusion from. Proof, in whatever form it may come. But thinking straight is impossible when all of a sudden, all your beliefs are being upturned in the most violent way possible at that. Jesus, I need a sounding board. I need to talk to someone, and that's the best person for that. Yeah.
I have to go, Professor.
Oh,
I don't have time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say as I cut the call short. In the same second, Isabella emerges from her apartment, fully dressed and ready for the day. Alright. As usual, she greets me with a false smile, but it falls just as fast once she catches a glimpse of my face. Shame, that would have been the first comforting thing I see today. It annoys me that I'm partially responsible for the worried one replacing it. Well, I must look close to a picture of someone choking or dying, because there's nothing but concern in the first word she speaks.
Ash, are you... Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, okay. But we should hurry. Come on, don't forget to lock your door.
Seriously, you look like you're about to fall over. Are you alright? Because if you're planning to faint right here, I won't be able to carry you.
Yes, don't mind me. I just remembered some stuff from last night.
It's stuff.
I need to talk to Z-Man about this. Mind if we drop by his place first?
Shouldn't we call him? To let him know? It's still pretty early, though we'd probably arrive there around noon. Also, what do you mean about this? Is Zach...
He was also there when I opened the letter, right? He read it too. I'm sure he's fine, but it wouldn't hurt to check on him. To make sure. See if he'll say the same things you told me yesterday.
If he's also been seeing things. If it's also the same woman I saw last night.
I'm not saying there's really a curse yet, but we have to look at this from every possible angle. And don't worry, he won't mind. He's probably just watching TV right now. Let's go.
Okay, but speak up if you're not feeling well. You really look like you're choking on something. You didn't have to do this for me in the first place.
You know it's not as simple as that.
We head down to my car in record time, with not a single second wasted to hit that road and drive to Zach's place. If any one of us other than Isabella who knows anything about what's going on, who can help sort the middle mess in my mind is, it's gotta be him. He listened to her. Zach, I mean. Oh, hell yeah, we are here in Zach's place, boys. Zach's the kind of who prefers to laze around his apartment on a weekend, especially after having a busy week like last one. Give me a moment, guys. I'm gonna drink some tea. Alright, I'll be back real soon. Just give me a sec. Yeah, boy, sola. So good. Sola, so good. Let's continue, shall we? Alright, where were we? Yeah, Zach's the kind who prefers to laze around his apartment on weekends, especially after having a busy week like this one. The big guy's nowhere in sight, though, when I arrive in his unit. Figures, people don't seem to be where they should be when I need them. Looking around, I find no sign where he might have gone to. He usually leaves a note on his fridge if he's out for the day, just in case someone drops by. How the hell did you even get inside of his apartment? Guess Zach doesn't like locking doors. As there isn't one, he probably just went out for a quick walk. Well, I hope. Maybe he ran out of eggs or something and went out to buy some. He is out of eggs after all. It puts my running mind to rest for a while. He always has to have some, but be it for an omelet or something he's baking.
Ash, should you be rummaging around? It's bad enough we went in here without asking for his permission.
Chill, I'm just looking.
Actually, I could also go for a fucking pie right now, but Zach's fridge is next to empty, save for a few leftovers. All I can do is sigh as I close it behind me.
If you see me take anything, feel free to call the police.
Isabella's quick to shoot me a sharp glare and another chuckle slips from me, despite the unease in my stomach. But the cheer only lasts a few mere seconds, mostly because she hasn't been in the mood for any sort of friendly banter. It's the silence that's telling, and quiet Isabella? It's usually the first recipe for an incoming shitstorm.
Do you always do this whenever you visit another person's house? Because I have a lot of questions about your methods.
Well, hey, he is a detective. He has to snoop around and check for stuff, right?
Just with Zach.
I'm still worried for our friend, of course, and despite what's bothering Isabella, she's anxious too. She's been standing by the doorway for a few good minutes now, since we entered Zach's place. In fact, doesn't seem to know what to do with herself. But much as I want to put her at ease, her nervous tics are starting to get me. The manner in which she makes herself smaller, the way she fidgets with her hands, clasping them one moment and unfurling in the next. It's distracting enough that I want to ask what's wrong. I doubt she'll give me a straight answer though, but the best I can do is help her temper it.
You don't have to hang around the door. We might be here for a while. You can sit down.
She hesitates for a second, but eventually takes the empty seat by Dak's study table.
Aren't we going to look for him?
Sure, we can, but where are we going to start? I can think of a few places he might be, but Luxburn's a big city. I don't want to miss the big guy if we leave, and...
A trail off, making a vague gesture in the general direction of Zach's bed. The messy bed suggests he was out in a hurry. He didn't even bother to fold the sheets. Oh yeah, his cell phone's been left behind as well. Another odd thing when he has made it a habit to never leave it behind in case a client calls.
At least the locked door points to the fact that it wasn't a forced exit.
That seems to assure her, but not so much. Understandable, anything might happen. In hindsight, we shouldn't have left Rebecca alone too. In hindsight, I shouldn't have left Rebecca alone. What? What the fuck? In the meantime, Zach, but with no other clue where he is and no other way to contact him, we have no choice but to wait. Sure, I could give their room another thorough run-through, but I don't think Zach will appreciate me upending his place. Isabella won't let me do that either. Besides, I haven't eaten anything yet. Isabella probably hasn't too. We did leave in a hurry. Might as well take this chance to cool down a bit, right? Anything to distract myself so that I don't just charge head first because of whatever paranoid scheme that comes to mind. Isabella with me? I can't be reckless. Returning to the kitchen, the first thing I see is a bag of chips when I riffle through his cupboards. After muttering a permission and an apology its owner won't hear, I grab it. Isabella doesn't miss shooting me another glare, but she doesn't really make an effort to stop me this time. She ignores my offer of food though. So instead, I set myself on Zach's old couch and turn on the television. Isabella's silence may not be, not be too heavy, but it sure as well is awkward. The screen lights up right as some awful noontime drama starts airing on a Channel 9. Nothing like sitting in front of the TV with a mindless drone running in the background to waste away the time. And waste it the way we do. Wow. Sure did take some time. The afternoon has hit its last few hours when movement comes from the other side of the door, and Zach's heavy treads breaks the monotonous drivel from the TV. The lock clicks, the knob turns, and slowly it swings open to reveal a very exhausted looking Zach. What? Did he run a marathon?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Light as my tone might be, his arrival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad happened to one of my friends. If another minute had gone by without him showing up, I might have resorted to unconventional methods.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
Z-Man?
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And hey, is that my...
It's scary how the friendly banter and easy smile come naturally. I do it, even without thinking, and that speaks volumes about how comfortable I am around him. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. What makes me afraid of it, however, is the idea that a time might come where I might just do this without even meaning to and offend him in some way. The friendship we might have, the friendship we have might be closer than most I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other's permission. Zach's been respectful of that so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me? Well, I'd bet he'd say not so much. It's also this easy banter that makes me wish we could just stay like this. No worries, no problems, just potato chips and the debate on whether or not I deserve them. But, as usual, something always cut moments like this short.
Of course he eats all of it. I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? It's free food, What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Although her tone forces him to do a double take, Zach doesn't push it. The question's all too clear in his eyes when he glances my way, though. I really wish I could answer him despite my best efforts. Isabella's been uncomforting as well. What am I supposed to do? Can't just force her to speak, can I? She's not a criminal to be interrogated. She's a friend, for Pete's sake. It's a good thing Zach has a better handle of the situation than I, and soon enough, he changes the subject. Where it leads to isn't necessarily the better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She stumbles into one of her uncertain silences again before glancing my way. There's a plea in there for me to take the lead in this, but where do we start? The mansion? The strange things we've been seeing? The letter? Even I am afraid of what he might say. Can't even believe I'm considering taking a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place, but here I am.
Please don't tell me something happened again.
No, nothing. None so far. And we're keeping it that way as much as possible.
Ash, it's not that easy. This isn't some...
We don't know that. Let me...
Sometimes I amaze myself how much I try for her. But what else can I offer her? I was the first one who brushed her off. We've all been given our warnings that day in that desperate pleading tone of hers, and I just stood there judging her. This is the least I can do. Perhaps even to make up for all of those other times I've hurt her.
Let me look at this first, okay? I agreed to help, but you've got to let me handle things from now on.
I already told you everything.
There must be something we're not seeing in this just yet. We'll sort this out, but no more silly ideas and running around on your own. You're making people worry more than necessary. Becca, especially.
So everything's fine?
Depends on who you're asking. How are things with you? Anything odd?
Good, I guess. Admittedly, how things went down at the housewarming party last night threw me off a bit.
I'm not asking about that. Remember the letter thing Isabella's been yapping on about? I'm asking about that kind of odd.
As expected, Zach starts to look at me like I've grown a second head. Yeah, I would too, if there was ever a universe where I was standing in front of myself. Because even as a child, I never believed in ghost stories. The lucky charms and mystical objects from my mother have often been stored away or given as paltry gifts to those who will appreciate them more.
Well, the dreams, they're a lot worse than usual. There's a woman now, ever since we saw that letter. I don't know if it's the same one Isabella talked about. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I really don't want to go back to sleep sometimes. Last night was the worst. Anyway, why are you asking about this?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go off on from here? The worried look Zach shoots my way doesn't help one bit in helping me gather my thoughts either. And that's what I came here for. Somehow, everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. It's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
Not just shady, dude. It's something even worse. And along with Isabella's warnings, what's occurring around Zach? What's happening around Luxburn since Isabella found the letter?
Have you two seen the news this morning?
Zach's puzzled expression is enough to answer. Of course he hasn't. Another night, another nightmare. The guy most likely went out as soon as he got out of bed to shake the images off. The memories have never really left him. Isabella, though?
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
That could easily mean anything. Did her kuya, her older brother, end up in jail again? She's had to bail him out numerous times in the past, though all that did was piss her off, not sap out every ounce of cheer in her. Or is it that other brother, the younger one who keeps insisting that he'll quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago as far as I know. She already sorted that one out. It couldn't have been her father, right? With the mansion's sale, she has earned enough to cover every bill for a while. It should. Oh, there. The prognosis of her father isn't going really well as well. So, what is it then?
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Whatever's bugging her, I doubt it's something meant for casual discussion. Else, she would have mentioned it sooner. Tucking my curiosity for later, I take the remote and begin cycling through the channels. Distraction. Not a good one, I admit, but it's definitely better than leaving her to brood. Eventually, I find one doing a recap of this morning's reports. And there it is. There you go. Man burned after room catches fire. Although there's still the messages of help me. Help me, help me. Poor guy is unidentifiable with how badly his body's been burnt. Murder via arson? That's the logical explanation if I was the officer looking into it. Except they couldn't find the source of the fire. The fire didn't even spread.
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxborn police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough, if they don't find anything else. But what's important for everyone to note is the state of the room.
A similar writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation.
Like, what happened to Rose Cooper? Hell, I wonder how many other tests like this I've missed while I've been looking to the rights. The LPD is already thinking it's a serial killer at this point. How long until they consult with the London Metropolitan? I'm not sure. The Anslim Butcher has always been an enigma even to the people within the city. Gone for a few years, and in the next, one body after another is found. Merely handling the case has apparently driven the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now, this time...
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
How? They did... Her words all come out like a whisper, but each syllable lingers in the air, heavy with her guilt. In the thick tension of the room, they strike harsher than any of the things we've said. However, she also has to understand, that she isn't the only one on this. No one has asked her to take this upon herself. Rebecca won't. Zach won't. And I sure as hell won't.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
But she is involved. She's been saying the same shit. She's seen the letter.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Encouragements aside, this is still a whole fucking mess, and we're in it blind. The only way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chickens. But I have a concrete plan now, I think. Well, maybe Isabella's right. Maybe we should dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. However, my suspicions are mine for the moment. The details are something Zach doesn't need to know until I have something to show. It's enough that he's aware that I have an idea in mind. For his part, Zima doesn't push it, and nothing but a heavy silence leads our departure hours later. Oh, hell yeah. Seriously, Zach will probably make more a responsible offer than me. If he only had the heart to join the force. We could certainly use more kind people like him. But as good as that thought is, I push all of it into the back of my mind as Isabella and I head for my car. Tonight, I can't stay distracted. Except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabella, the drive to BRC is quiet, awkward affair. Is a quiet, awkward affair. More so the hour-long wait for nightfall. Even with only the 2 of us, the place is rife with tense energy. Only a matter of minutes now. But the ticking seconds don't take away the edge, and for the ninth time I reach out and fiddle with the radio, adjusting and turning the knobs with no real purpose. It's a nervous quirk I've developed and never bothered to correct during stakeouts, something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. What else is there for me to do? The person I usually count on for a casual out-of-the-blue chat refuses my attempts at starting one.
Ash, out with it!
Oh, what? The way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes, though, it makes me doubt if she really means everything she's telling me right now. She hasn't even glanced my way since we arrived.
Having second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno. You can get in trouble, maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Scope BRT out, see if the real estate company has any more information that might be of help. Find things about Cooper and the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde mansion. According to Isabella, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Sure, I could also check the station for full reports. That's the easy, semi-legal way. But I don't want to bump into Chief right now. The guy at the precinct will definitely throw me out on his orders as soon as they see me. Not that my plan right now is any better. I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less, with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will. Especially if if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work, almost a model employee, as people would say. Why is she throwing caution to the wind now?
I'm not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way. Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the Wright's mansion. As it stands, I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into a realty corp? Been here many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug a scaredy cat. Over the years, I have more or less grown familiar with their security setup and how badly staffed they are. Plus, it's an old building. If the bankruptcy rumors are true, it just means their access protocols might also be outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Well, I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
A gecko? Yeah, no, yeah.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Yeah, you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Yes. Low blow, I know, but it's worth a shot when she can still turn back. It's not like I don't have any means to get into the place, yeah. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
For a passing second, it seems to work. A hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks to me with searching eyes. Then, unexpectedly, it dissolves. Not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. I'm not sure what she sees exactly or what she's hoping to find in the short while she holds my gaze. All of it merely goes unspoken, and no longer than a minute later, she simply averts her attention back to the window, training it once again to, at some point outside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
An appeal, spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her, perhaps unintentional. Perhaps one that's already too exhausted of everything going on lately. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that tone, and soon, despite myself, I sigh. Tucking away every concern I've been lugging around in favor of trusting her on this, according to her the same confidence she has implicitly given me all this time.
Alright, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you.
Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, though none of the cheer reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Somehow, the certainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intended it as some kind of a comforting gesture. Whether it's for me or for her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car while I'm left rambling and chasing after her. She's already at the side entrance, a hand raised on the card reader beside it, and another poised to push the button open when I catch up to her. Whatever doubt there has been in her face a while ago, well, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded, that things might go smoothly this time.
And where do you think you kids are going? It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
The bloke seems friendly enough, so one can't really tell from his voice alone. He might be the wary sort for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and aloof air won't hurt until I've figured out how to wiggle us out of this situation.
Just come back on Monday if you have important business.
But from the way Isabella's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a problem. He's probably been working here for a few months already then. Maybe around 4 to 6 months max. Otherwise, he would have recognized Isabella or me at first glance. I haven't shown my face here since I've been assigned to the firm case a year ago. In the first place, none of their security officers ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5. I'll give this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. For the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
Seb? Yeah.
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough.
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time.
Why is she so giddy this time? What the?
Sanchez!
You were closer the first time?
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
Hey, take it back. This geezer's not going to last past this month. He can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time. Centillon?
Still a ways off, Seb.
Isabella, we don't have all night.
I know. Just let me handle this.
Shut the fuck up, Ashton. Okay, let her handle
Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good. Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
Who, me?
My what?
Your
Boyfriend. The guy with you, isn't he?
It's a fair observation if I do say so myself. Needless to say, the silence that descends is both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. Although the latter is probably coming mostly from me, because in the next second, Isabella laughs. Laughs. Liker than the ones I've heard from her lately. A comforting sound, really, after seeing her in such a dour mood since this morning. Even as all of it subsides into weird chuckles sooner than I'd like. It's comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it, despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp. See, Isabella doesn't even have any interest in you, freaking Ash. Yeah, protect that smile, guys. Protect it. All right.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, no. No. He's definitely not my boyfriend.
Not my boyfriend. She might as well have set it on fire and reduce it to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in that sentence alone is a bit too much. Christ, one would have been enough to get the message across. Did you really have to put it that way?
That's impossible. Stop being funny, Seb.
Damn the impossible. Did you hear that, Ash? Did you hear that, Ash?
I'll go on ahead, okay?
She quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, leaving behind an even more awkward atmosphere for me to wade through. It would have been bearable if I didn't have to suffer through a stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is me.
Not the boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Yeah.
Mind your own business.
Kids these days.
Yeah, kids
Good
these
to
days.
see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
Excuse me?
You know, stuff in the news.
You mean what happened with Rose Cooper?
If I'm going to be stuck here with him for a while, I might as well try to gather as much intel as I can. He may just be a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time, people like him are the ones who know more than they let on.
Yeah, but even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Really? Those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
Dunno, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here. Though seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy. Figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Ansem, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke shouting like no tomorrow again. Wasn't very pleased when Gurley called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Gurley? Isabella?
It's not too surprising, considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another. Not that it's a bad thing, it's within her rights as an employee, but Isabella rarely uses her work leaves.
Yeah, poor lassie if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all. The least he could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Oh shit, Ash didn't know about her father's passing. Oh shit. Oh yeah, I remember now. I forgot. I totally forgot. Condolence to Isabella.
Wait, what?
The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper, missing in action employees, all of it ceases to matter in that instant. Almost on instinct, my eyes zero in on that intercom speaker, as if staring daggers at it will show me the man behind the voice so I can see the truth in his face myself.
Oh, you don't know?
No, what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and, you know, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say. Why don't you just go after her? As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
Well, he's lucky I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I were someone with ill intentions, he might not be smiling at the end of the day.
Well, no, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Hey, wait a second. What do you mean by...
He cuts off the connection before I can finish, and the rest of my question dies in my throat. Soon, the latch clicks and the side door swings open. The Seb, a stout man wearing a uniform still too loose for him, waves me over from the gap before he disappears behind his station again. Just my luck. Here I thought I'm going to have to count on whatever Isabella brings with her. Although, no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else has already taken a firm seat in the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Since when? Of course, I step into the building. I try to push all of these questions as far down as I can. I need to focus. Work is work. But if what I've heard is exactly what I think it is, if it's a sign of things to come, honestly, I don't feel too good about that. Oh shit. I hate elevators. You guys know how much I hate elevators. I hate elevators so much, especially with horror games. Especially with the horror tag. Oh god. Oh shit. Something might happen here. Here we go. It's a quiet ride up to the 7th floor where the BRC Luxburn main office is. Seb has been kind enough to switch the guest elevator's power on. Just as I'm about to head for the fire exit stairs, which is a welcome relief. I'm an active guy, but stairs? I don't want to tire out too quickly in case things get ugly. There probably won't be any trouble with a building this quiet, but you never know. I swear the whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. But until I've confirmed anything, those are still just worries. I mean, stories. Worst things can happen. No need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes. Are you jinxing yourself right now, Ash? Fuck you.
Oh, I sure am fucking gutsy, especially with what I'm doing.
I'm breaking a lot of laws here. I'm also putting Isabella in a lot of risks. Best thing that can come out of this is that Isabella's right all along. Worst case scenario? 1. Someone finds out Isabella's involvement in this and her boss fires her. 2. I find evidence that will implicate BRC or Luke Wright in a crime, and my meddling, if I'm not careful enough, makes it inadmissible in court. Though, I'll be honest, I strongly prefer losing my job or facing Wright over some spirit or ghost or whatever it is. Stop jinxing yourself, Ash! We could always work around the problems with the former. Isabella could also find a better job. BRC never did pay her properly despite her efforts. But fighting off a phantom, how does one even do that? Do guns even work with them? You're asking the right questions here, Ash.
Yeah, not going to happen.
But tonight, I'm here to fix things. And if I do it without leaving a trail, all the better. Good thing that's what I'm good at. And then... oh, hell yeah! What? Oh, shit. It's gonna get eerie right now. Oh, is that a Gundam? Hey. What I'll probably never be good at is finding the proper words when a stitch calls for it. But seeing Isabella's small form behind those doors, how she pushes through despite carrying an entirely different burden this time, how she's pretending as if everything's normal, it's difficult not to try. People who have never looked beyond her smiles will never know, will never understand. Hell, even Rebecca's probably not yet aware of this. I get it. We have other problems at hand. I've done the same thing plenty of times to protect myself after all. But it's all in her eyes once she glances up the few light raps I give the door. She wastes no time leaving the mess of papers on the table and opening it up for me. Though, even her confusion, as she takes in my presence, barely hides it.
Seb, let you in?
Oh, hell yeah. The rough edge in her voice rings a whole different tune now that I'm aware why. But knowing is different from hearing it straight from her. I can't simply bring this up, can I? It's not a topic suited for casual conversation, and I doubt she wants to talk to me about it. As much as I want to help, there's a distance between us I'll never be able to cross. One that wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. Perhaps if I had been more honest years ago and less of a coward, I might have been able to. Figures. Couldn't even do that for the one person I keep telling myself that I care deeply about.
What can I say? I'm a very charming person.
To a rock, maybe.
This is the closest we can get to it, I suppose. The light banter, the fleeting glances, or sometimes the long bouts of silence. Well, and it's enough. For me it is, because even without words, there's comfort. With her, it's easy.
Must be a pretty cool rock then.
Ugh, get over yourself.
Hey now, I deserve some slack here. Today's supposed to be my day off, and yet here I am helping you out.
Helping? By standing at the door?
Well, you're not exactly letting me in.
Despite what she says, she moves to block me when I try to enter. She must have expected this the second we walked up the building's entrance and counted on the night shift guard to bar me from the place. It's reassuring to know she's somehow worried about me, although it's a bit misplaced at the moment. Besides, her concerns aside, I really can't let her go into the thick of things without me. Not with all the problems on her plate right now.
Isabella?
Seriously, Ash. Seb might get in trouble for this. You might get in even bigger trouble with your boss.
And you're not? We've already talked about this back at Zach's. It's out of the question.
Plus, we're already here, so...
At least do it for Seb, please. He's a really nice guy. With the way things are going here, he's...
On that, I agree with her. Seb's not such a bad fellow. Might be a little careless with his job and talks too much, but he means well. I'd hate to see the guy leave here with a bad record, in case something goes wrong. However, the anxious look she shoots back the table behind her bring an even bigger worry.
Did you find something? Aside from what you told me about yesterday?
Not yet. I'm not sure. I haven't started going through the files we have in the records room. Just the ones they handed to me and Rose.
Let me see.
Wait, Ash!
Isabella, I already promised you that no one's going to get in trouble after we're done here. Even Seb. I'll make sure we leave the place clean.
Her hesitation's still there, a split second of indecision as she tries to form an argument. Eventually, when nothing comes to mind, she steps aside.
Okay, but we can't take the original files out of this office, clear? Not even a single sheet. We'll just have to make a copy.
Yes.
Don't worry, that's the plan.
It appears to reassure her, a nod, then shortly she gestures for me to follow. Passing the sea of cubicles, I can't help but take in everything in their office, a force of habit for the most part. As far as I know, BRC Luxborn used to own this whole building. Offices in several floors once upon a time when real estate is still lucrative business for the company in this side of the country. Then competition showed up and suddenly everything's not so good anymore. It only got worse as the years went by, or so according to the rumors. Now that branch is just this floor, despite what the huge sign in the building's facade says, and frankly, it's not too hard to believe when one looks at the state of this room right now. A number of desks have been cleared out. Personal mementos are scarce as if the employees have gone on an exodus. That will be the downside probably. Still worrisome though. Of course, I shake away all of this when Isabella starts handing me the papers she's been looking through. Focus, Frey. There's no point in whining or dwelling any longer on it. That's why we're here in the first place, to find out what the real deal is, the old-fashioned way. Isabella's presence is a whole other blessing, too. Couldn't imagine how long this would take if I pushed going in here alone.
Is this everything? Where are the documents you mentioned?
Still locked up in the records room. Do you need them now?
Bring them here. Everything that has to do with the mansion's sale. Even those who worked on it during the renovations. The cleanup. Everything. Including your mandatory sign-in sheets.
It's an odd thing to bring up, but at least it elicits a laugh from her before she heads for the records room. She remembers, and no matter how weak the sound of it is from her usual ones, it's a welcome thing to hear. It reminds me that the Isabella I know is still in there. She returns minutes later with a thick stack of folders and binders. Okay, for the next half of the hour, we work in complete silence while we dig into everything compiled in the folders. Alright. Not an easy task considering how thick the whole thing is, but there's two of us. In fact, Isabella does most of the work. Sorting the contracts, the employee lists, and stuff we won't need into a neat pile. Just the files for the restoration alone makes up a stack of papers that's an inch thick. Third-party service providers hired for the masonry, radiators, woodwork, plasterwork, slate roofing, and a whole bunch of other things are well documented. Okay, now every single contractor who worked on the project were listed individually, even if they were just there to do the plumbing. It's a high-profile and high-cost estate, all right. But with that scope comes the loopholes. Means plenty of room to hide something in. If there's something fishy going on, all I have to do is find a pattern. And it doesn't take long. Upon closer glance, despite the original owners shouldering the renovation costs, it will be surprising if they've managed to break even on the Arrogant mansion. With the additional expenses for the open house, commission for their agents, and other overhead fees. At one point, the negotiations to get it listed under BRC's name almost broke down, too. Some disagreement about the listing price, so the owners wanted to be rid of it as quickly as possible while keeping the worth at a profitable level. BRC was insisting on a higher amount, double what the appraiser suggested. This, plus the rumor that their branch is closing, BRC Luxburn really is in the red, and the sale of the mansion could have easily been a desperate move to keep the branch afloat.
No wonder the final sale happened as fast as it did. Did you know about this?
No. They took it off our hands after I submitted the final documents for the sale. I'm not sure if Rose did. I've only been given the key to the records room after she... Anyway, my point is, they've kept all the files from me. Rose was the one who compiled everything from our side. And even then, she was probably not aware of this.
Oh, shit.
There's only so much they let us know. After that, they just told us to wait for our commission, and that the legal team would handle the rest. The rumors are true, huh?
Yep.
Seems so.
Sheesh, this place is just unlucky. Going bankrupt while the rest of this crap is happening? But this isn't what we're looking for. What we need is the who. The people aside from Isabella and Cooper involved in this business with the mansion, and the how they are now. You can't do much with outside contractors. They won't be on file. The employee list, on the other hand, even with the two people working through the pile, the whole task still takes quite a while. It's a quarter of an hour later when we put down the papers with a sigh and move on to the clients upon Isabella's insistence. For that, the sign-in form from the open house comes in handy. Something that gives me a laugh when I spy the fake name I wrote on the on one of the sheets. Which fake name? Richard Frank? What? Nani?
Why'd I even pick this name? It sounds so lame.
Which one?
What name?
Nothing important. Just focus on those papers you have. We need to finish this soon, before Seb suspects anything.
Ashley. Is that it? She snatches the paper away from, before the thought of hiding it occurs to me. Not that there's much secret in it. Isabella found me that afternoon. Anyway, but, still.
Ashley?
I was right. Yay. I've been careless that day, tailing Luke right without confirming where they were headed off to. While the butler is terribly efficient in keeping the ride's engagements from the public eye, there are other ways if only I've given it the time of my day. In retrospect, I've been too eager, too impatient to find something that will crack the case and be done with it. Maybe my failure goes as far back as the day of the open house, not during the party last night.
Yeah, well, I was pressed for time.
Seriously, Ashley? Were you even trying?
Oh, come on. You didn't even notice I was the one who wrote it down.
Of course I wouldn't. Only an idiot would use his real name.
It worked, though. Admit it. It's genius. Who would have thought, huh?
She responds with a roll of her eyes, then drops the matter entirely by shoving the paper back to my hand. Wait, so Ashton Lee. Is that it? Is that what? So is he related to Chief Lee? His chief inspector? What the fuck is going on? I know Ashton's... Yeah, wait, what? Ashton is not named Ashton Lee, as far as I know. I have to make sure. Wait. Fuck. Journal. Profiles. Ashton. See, Frey. I must be sleepy. I must be so sleepy. I forgot about his last name, Ashton Frey. What is wrong with me? I must be sleepy as fuck. But hey, it's continuing. All right, here we go. We'll lapse back to our respective tasks afterwards, wordlessly skimming through everything. Read. Set. I even wait. Give me a fucking moment. I even forgot Isabella's. There you go. Grace Cruz Santos. There. Fucking hell, dude. I even forgot Isabella's last name. Jesus. Oh God. You know what? After this, I'm gonna stop this stream. Like after the next, maybe after this instance, we'll see. We'll ask back to our respective tasks afterwards. We're just skimming through everything. Read, set aside, get another one. Yeah, looking back at the sign-in sheet, I spot Luke Wright and Hannah Wright listed up top. Not that I don't know about them already, of course, but scanning through the list, a name immediately comes to my attention.
Madeline Williams.
Madeline Williams. What about Madeline Williams?
Something wrong?
Huh? No, just that I remember this girl listed here.
She frowns, moves her seat closer, and takes careful read at the sheet. There's a long moment before she speaks up again, but from the way she tenses, she appears to be expecting the worst already.
What about her?
She was with me, in the group following Cooper, when we toured the upstairs part of the mansion, I mean.
Madeline Williams? What?
Rather loud one, especially when we took a peek into the attic. Kept talking about the ghost stories the whole tour.
Okay.
Then, do you think she's...
She was reported missing 3 days after.
Oh shit. There was a ruckus at the precinct the day her family filed it. Threats were naturally given at the lack of progress days later. Desperate ones. Her family is willing to shell out all the cash they have just to find her, to no avail, unfortunately. Officer Benjamin has been in a bad mood ever since he spoke with them, but what can he do? But what can we do? He's tied. We're all tied. There's only so much we're able to do with everything that has been shoved into our hands recently.
She still hasn't been found. It's already been a week.
Isabella makes no further comment aside from a nod. Instead, she sits back on her chair with a distant look in her eyes, her hands balling to a fist as she struggles with her frustration. Or maybe it's anger. But the moment doesn't last too long. Soon her grip loosens and she folds her hands back on her lap. Her expression, however, it's one I've seen too many times in the mirror. What does one say to a person burdened not by one loss, but many, who carries it in her shoulder like a badge of shame? I've yet to find the answer to that myself. Until then, the only way is forward. Press on to see where our attempts at fixing our mistakes might lead us. And despite my own doubts, a glimpse of that look on her face is enough reason for me. I can't just give up. There's too much at stake, too much to lose. With a renewed focus, I continue. On the third and last... Why is my voice starting to change? I spot another one, Beatrice Wilde. One I recall from the newspaper obituaries. Maybe it's my throat. I don't know. From all the hours of just talking. It died of a heart attack. The letter of correspondence expressing condolences to her family confirms as much in her files. passed away at age 74 in her sleep.
She's at that age. It certainly could have been a natural death.
Right? I'd like to believe so. But 3 more letters turn up when I rummage through the stack, and it leaves nothing more than foreboding, a foreboding feeling in me. They're all addressed to families of clients who have passed away in the past week. Regardless, these go into the pile of things worth looking into after our visit here, along with William's info sheet. There are just so many names, so many faces, each one I've seen that day, and here I am, wondering if they're all right. It isn't a selfish thought that brings a question to mind. Rather, it's the logic that if more of them are still alive, the more people I can choose to question. Nothing's concrete yet, of course. These are just speculations, but we are making progress. Once done with the sign-in sheets, I stash it along with the growing pile to my left and pull out as many of the other documents Isabella has already prepared for me. We're working through the employee list now, those who have been assigned to the mansion. Because if Isabella was to be believed, if what she's seen and what happened to Rose Cooper is because of that letter, then I need to know everyone who has possibly read it aside from the 3 of us. If they've been noticing strange things too. So for all I know, they may have just been a terrible coincidence. Although the thought of that starts to diminish as we dig into the BRC's company files. Okay, 15 minutes later, the stack close to my elbow has risen from 5 to 21 different dossiers. Client and employee documentation. People have either visited the open house or worked on the property in some capacity since the letter's discovery. Turns out there were 2 more employees who handled the mansion directly, aside from Cooper and Isabella. Christian C., the realty specialist, and Mark Julius John Marie, the estate appraiser.
This C guy, he was in custody just the other day.
Really? Sir John has been looking for him. He stopped reporting to work a few weeks ago.
So he was in custody and nobody reported to his job? What?
Are you sure it's the same person?
Yep, this is him. Folks at the precinct said they went to his house after a noise complaint. They found him just acting all crazy. Had to take him in when he started getting violent. He kept screaming about a woman.
Yeah, the same one you guys are freaking seeing. Immediately she stiffens. I don't want to bring it up or imply connection to Isabella's story, but that is exactly what happened.
It was driving the guards mad, but he didn't last too long in there. A few hours in, and he just started bashing his own head against the wall, and, well...
What?
It was messy, to say the least.
What?
Oh, no. We had no idea. Is he okay? HR just marked him as AWOL because none of their calls would get through.
He's in the hospital right now. I heard they're putting him into a psychiatric ward as soon as he recovers. He's still a bit unstable.
Well, at least he's still alive. Jean-Marie, on the other hand, his employee file noted his date of leaving and even when his final payment had been given. Along with it, there's a letter to his family about the appraiser being found dead in the office. What, Nani? Communication is hush-hush and there's mention of compensation if they don't talk about it to the media. Inspector Abigail has often scolded me for not reading the reports on a regular basis, but I try to keep up to date as much as I can. When I do, I make sure I'm aware of the gist of what's going on in my city. But this never reached the police's ear or the health and safety executive.
Do you know about this guy?
One glance at her says everything. They've hidden it from the media. They've kept it from the police. It's not surprising this will also be a secret from someone of Isabella's position in the company. Fuck.
Rose was looking for him. Last week. We haven't heard anything from him either. Until now. They never mentioned this to us.
Oh shit, so he's dead. Business going under and someone dies while working here? Of course they want to keep that secret. Sorry, quiet. It's bad publicity. This whole thing is just getting freakier by the minute. Nevertheless, I had the files for Isabella to make a copy of.
The pages with their names, addresses, and contact numbers will do. We'll start with the ones who live within the city.
Sometimes there are things you really can't just brush off as mere coincidence. In my line of work, once a pattern pops up, it's only right to be suspicious. Especially the things with C. It hits too close to the stuff my own friends have been telling me.
All of this?
Yeah, all of that. It's considerably thinner than the one she brought in, yet somehow the way she hugs the folders close to her makes it seem heavier. Like she's hanging onto it in the same manner one will latch onto to a lifeline.
Only the noteworthy ones.
And those that might still be alive. Might! She doesn't need to know that.
We can't check the outside contractors, but the guys with the direct connection to BRC and the people who attended the open house should be enough. We don't have time to see how everyone's doing, especially if what you said is true.
For a second, she appears about to argue, then quickly decides against it and hides it away before anyone reads the question in her face. Then, in a too abrupt motion, she turns towards the copier and gets to work. Soon, only the machine's constant thrum fills the air around us while I keep myself busy cleaning up the mess we've made. The lack of talk is awkward, to put it mildly. Disturbing, at worst. We've gotten so used to letting her just babble away whenever it's just the two of us. I could tell, however, she wants to do more. She wants to fix this mess herself. And that desire makes her angsty. But at the same time, she's learning how not to be impulsive or stubborn. Exactly as I've told her yesterday before agreeing to any of this. Or maybe these so-called changes have always been with her. Dire situations have always pushed people to change, after all. Although seeing this happen in front of me only makes it difficult to find the proper things to say. In an atmosphere this tense and charged, what is left for us to talk about? Certainly not the news. What's worse is when you only realize all of this is, this in hindsight, right after you've already ran your mouth off.
For a house your company seems to be in a hurry to sell, they still made quite a fortune out of it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3... 6. Are you sure they're planning to give your entire share for this? This isn't a small amount, especially given the usual cut. And their accounting department isn't in the greatest shape either.
Even if they don't, it's not like someone still needs it.
And there's the reason why people don't let me talk. Silence once again descends through the room, denser compared to the ones we've shared tonight. Behind me, I can still hear her movements, sharp and precise, while she feeds the originals to the machine. Then, with one last click, all of it stops. Her feet shuffle slightly against the floor when she moves away. Something creaks softly, probably a table, as she settles her weight against its side. But this time, an apology is already at the tip of my tongue, but...
Well, I'm...
Papa's...
Aw, shit, she's gonna talk about it now. Oh. Alright, here we go.
Papa's gone, Ash.
Within those scant few seconds, everything between us shifts as the gravity of her words sinks. Right then and there, something harsh and immovable rises between us. This is something I'm familiar with. Almost 10 years in the police force, and it's impossible not to be acquainted with it. But this is different from those dead bodies we examined in forensics. A far cry from the victims we found on a bad investigation. Those I could easily distance myself from. No emotional attachments, no need for pretenses. Yet somehow I still find myself grasping for things to tell her. Any words of comfort that will dull the pain. Because even without looking at her, her grief feels palpable enough. Her pain, an immutable weight hanging over us. So gently I offer... Let's tell me about
when.
Huh? When what?
Your dad. I mean, when did you find out?
She doesn't answer. Not immediately, anyway. For a long moment, the hush simply stretches out before us, spanning across the seconds we let pass while we both simply stand there, waiting. Eventually, she exhales, lightly muted enough that I might have missed it, had I not been paying attention to her every movement.
Yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday, huh? So that's why she was crying. I mean, that's why she had puffy eyes when she woke up. Okay.
Around 3 in the afternoon there. Mama called. She told me he passed away in his sleep, and I guess I guess I can take comfort in that, huh? That Papa wasn't in any pain when...
She trails off, releases another rag breath hidden underneath her chuckles. Each one's mirthless, heavy with nothing but sorrow. Then she falters into silence, and for all my attempts at lightening her burden, I'm suddenly at a loss. Reassurances could only do so much, when her only reason for staying here has suddenly been taken from her. A hope yanked from under her feet right after it was generously given. And without that, without the one person who pushes her to endure these, all of the shit we're going through, she's going through, means nothing but a struggle. What does one say to a person fraying at the edges, slowly wearing thin and breaking? Are words even enough? What right do I have anyway? I cannot give her anything apart from lies that change me as a person and affection she may or may not even want for herself. Because no matter how easily or easy she has wormed herself into our lives, how immutable her presence has become, her own heart will always yearn for something else. For home.
Tell me about him.
Huh? About what?
Your dad. Tell me about him. Anything. Just talk. Say anything you want. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll listen.
Silence again, as if she's testing the weight of my question. For what purpose it is, for a reason even I can't say right now. After a while, though, she starts, reluctantly, her voice hitching, faltering and stumbling on each syllable as she chooses her words. A rough start, but soon it steadies. And along with it, to keep company the stories from childhood memories she's fond of, are the tears. Despite this, in spite of the grief choking her words off, the hurt closing her throat, and the sobs racking her lips form, she continues, like the mere act of speaking is a relief in itself. A release. She tells me of her father, the very person who named her, how she looked up to him, how she was a bit of a tomboy growing up, in her attempts to imitate him, and how the man encouraged her to pursue what she really wanted. Perhaps even the only thing she ever did for herself, having grown up not wanting anything more than food to put up on their tables.
He told me I don't have to listen to them, that I can do what I want. Every day, he'd wake up at 4, Ash, because he'd earn more that way. And every single time, he'd give them to me.
Her father is a jeepney driver, or I think tricycle driver.
Whatever extra he earned, he'd hand them all, so that I'd have something to use for my paintings. And you know what? Back home, just a good tube of paint costs almost as much as what we spend for food the whole day. But he'd always set something aside. Told me he wanted to see my paintings in a museum one day.
Aww. She pours all of it out. Every little thing she loved and admired about him. Like this, it's easy to see why she has gone to such great lengths for him. Why she abandoned her dreams. Why she went against his wishes just to grant him another chance at life. Others will say it's her warmth that draws people to her, or her cheer. Neither are wrong, but neither is the whole truth to her either. Because those who have never bothered to look behind the surface will never see it. See her. See someone earnest, someone who has always meant well, despite her underlying stubbornness. This is how she loves. Warm, steadfast, and unflinching. You never meet many people like her, not in my line of work, not with the kind of people I've had to deal with. Always with something to hide, always with something to lie about. Eventually, when you run across too many of them, you change. You become like them. In many ways. Well, for a lot of reasons. She's the kind of person I want to be and be around with. Who made me feel I'm still worth something.
He didn't want me to leave. Begged. I
could finish my studies first. In the end, I couldn't even grant him that one request. I'm a terrible daughter, aren't I?
You're not.
Huh?
Nani?
You're not. I can't speak for your dad. I haven't even met the man. But I know you're not.
I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this. The remark just came out. Now I'm stringing all of these together as I go. But one thing is certain. None of what I'm about to say is a lie.
The Isabella I know is a total klutz, but I've never seen anyone work as hard as she does. She's the type who wears her heart on her sleeve. Though it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's always in the right place. She's intimidated by a lot of stuff, but she knows how to appreciate the smallest things in life. Frankly, you've caused us no small amount of trouble since you barged into our lives. But when I'm with you, all of my worries seem trivial.
Oh, is that a confession, Ashton? Heat has already crept up my face when the turn this whole thing is about to take registers. Before I blurt the rest of it, declare feelings I'm not even ready to reveal to anyone, much less to her, my hand comes up to smother the rest of it. So embarrassment quickly takes the reins before I can completely clamp my mouth shut.
And I'm pretty sure Zach and Becca think the same way.
You tsundere.
You have a nasty way of growing on people like that, and you know what? We got everything we needed in here. I'll just wipe the security recordings and we're good to go. While I'm at it, you better wipe the snot off your face. And you don't look very nice when you're balding like that.
Hastily gather everything, the personal files, client documents, sales agreements, and contracts, anything my hands could reach. In record time, all of it has been stacked in a neat pile, ready for storage. I'm heading for the records room not a few seconds later, wherever that is. It should be an easy find unless this place is a maze of some sort, which I highly doubt. Still, beats staying here and seeing the look on her face. Crap, really, her anger is still bearable. I can't take that. Including the glower she sends my way.
So, yeah, I'll go get the security videos and put these back where you pulled them from. Man, these are heavy, you know?
Ash, it's just paper. You don't even know where I...
Oh, no, I can handle this. Easy as pie. And, yeah, security cams, tapes, videos, cams.
I can really imagine what Ashton is doing right now. Alright.
Yeah, I'm off.
Her rejection at this point? Maybe not yet. I don't know. Anyway, getting the files back to BRC's archive room is a cinch. With the documents back in their proper places, I lock the door behind me, tugging it twice just to make sure. Oh, come on. I can sense something ominous brewing. Now on to the next order of business. Removing the evidence of our little excursion in here. Or at the very least, the parts showing what we've been doing during the past hour. Can't have our faces plastered on security footage showing us breaking the law as it were. I'm gonna have to wipe the data for Isabella's access card entries too. Surprisingly, finding their security room proves a breeze. What will be tricky is getting inside. The fact that no one has walked out during the whole time we've been here means the room is either empty or their security is sound asleep. I'm banking more on the former. If they're cutting corners and firing agents, I have no doubt that they've fired the guy stationed here, if they have anyone watching the monitors in the first place. It's a rather common thing for establishments. Just leave security recording indefinitely and only check the footage if something actually happens. That is true. Just to check, I pressed my ears against the door, listening for a sign of anyone occupying the room. After a long minute and nothing, I gave the knob a few rattles.
Standard lock and key. Should be easy enough to pick.
Go, Ashton. Lockpick that shit. We have a lockpick set, we have lockpick sets, but those are only to be used if necessary and with a search warrant. Even then, it's a skill set rarely needed. Subtlety isn't on a cop's priority if they have authority to search the premises. Bolt cutters and brute force are the favored methods. If those fail, we call a locksmith. Wow, nice. Me, I prefer the good old hairpin trick when those options aren't available. Besides, they're easy to hide and store for emergencies. Running my hand through my hair, I pull a pair of bobby pins. Wow, you're actually keeping bobby pins on your lustrous hair. Huh, okay. 2 of these and I can just about open any standard lock. One makes a lever and the other makes a handle. Yep, search YouTube on how to do that, guys. I should practice. I won't call it a complex skill, but it certainly takes time and a lot of practice to successfully pick a lock. Good thing I've practiced with them for a bit in my college years. I learned more when they're accessible and standard issue for a law enforcement officer. I'll wiggle here, I click there, and I manage to seize all the pins in the locking mechanism soon enough. With a slight turn of the knob, the security room's ripe for the picking. Hello? Oh shit! I'm pretty sure we're gonna see something here, guys. Prepare yourselves. The room's odor hits me first. The sharp, nauseating stench as if someone has accidentally spilled a gallon of bleach in the room. Ew. When was the last time they opened this place?
Ugh, this place smells awful. Jesus, it's worse than the forensics lab on a bad day.
This is probably because of a badly botched effort to clean the place up. Even in the dark, I can spy dark stains on the walls. Ew, someone has been doing something. I really don't have the time to try and play this, this ketchup or soda right now, but I have this strange gut feeling who the mess might belong to. Oh, yeah. As expected, no security personnel mans the office CCTV controls, and the standalone DVR setups open for anyone. Normally, I'd have a heap of things to say about this sloppy security setup, but right now, their negligence makes the whole task of erasing evidence easier.
No fuss, no muss.
The next one should be the access card data. Hopefully, getting into their computer won't be too much of a hassle. Everything up to now has been smooth sailing. There have been hiccups, I'll give it that, though it does nothing to dampen the good mood I'm in. You're jinxing yourself again, Ash! Meh. Once I shift my attention to the machine sitting next to the DVR setup, all of it swiftly evaporates. I am no computer buff, but I can definitely recognize one more than a decade old. Simply looking at it makes me feel younger. With a heavy sigh, I powered it up and mentally prepared myself for a slow slug. Slow, apparently, remains an understatement here. It takes a whole 3 minutes for the thing to start up. The OS hasn't even started loading, and in my bedroom, I start inspecting the live feeds from the cam. Sorry, in my boredom, not bedroom. What the fuck am I saying? Only 2 works. One for the view outside, everything should be in order there, and the other for main workspace, where it's a fleeting glimpse, a cursory glance, but the sight of it stops me. Oh, do you see it, Ash? The image is a bit blurry, but standing there, right in the middle of the room by one of the cubicles, I can make out the form of a dick. Yes, that is right, a dick. Oh well.
What the hell is...
It's a dick, Ash, alright? I don't get too far into that line of thought. No few seconds after my words have slipped out, without any sort of warning, while I'm still trying to make sense of what it is, the figure moves. Yes! Here comes the horror, boys! Come on, you fucking grudge bitch! Let's go! It's been a while! Hell yeah! Woo! A moment of paralysis hits me when she stops right in front of the camera, like a damn rookie. I go still in the face of danger. I definitely haven't been trained to handle the supernatural, and this is one. Isn't it? And, well, oh fuck. Her eyes bore into me, the malice in them piercing. Even beyond the screen, it's enough to make me go numb. Only the mug crashing to the floor when my hand accidentally takes a swipe at it snaps me out of the trance, reminding me that I'm not the only one here. Isabella. It seems she hasn't noticed anything, and I'm the only one seeing this? Well, in any case, whatever's happening, I have to get her out. Gathering my wits, I quickly reach for my phone. It takes about all 2 seconds before she answers, but there's no time for relief.
Ashton? Did you really have to call? We're practically on the same floor.
Get out of there.
What? What are you...
Out. Get out. I'll meet you in the elevator. Just...
Isn't it dangerous to let her go alone, you little shit?
You're creeping me out, Ash.
Just get yourself out of that place, now!
Without second thought, I back away from the controls from the room, ready to be done with this place. But before my foot even moves, she disappears.
Son of a...
Oh, hey. 3, 2, 1. Ah! Fuck, jump scare! Fuck you guys. Son of a... Instinct instantly takes over, and my hand quickly reaches for the gun at my side, only to meet empty air. A mistake that cost me a few precious seconds, while the paperwork I brought with me threatens to scatter everywhere at the same time. Gathering everything and myself once more with no weapons to protect myself, my sense of self-preservation kicks in next, and I lunge towards the door. I sprint across the office without daring to look back. Isabella's already waiting in front of the elevator by the time I make it out of their office. Worry creases her eyebrows upon glancing at me, but I don't have time to answer the question in her eyes. As soon as I reach her, I grab her arm, practically throw the two of us into the open elevator, and slam the button for the ground floor. A sigh of relief escapes from me when the elevator starts its descent. The clicking noises fades off into the distance. Beside me, Isabella shifts, moving the sack of papers under her arm while she takes in my appearance. Concerns in her eyes, although all I offer her is a small gesture of my hand while I attempt to compose myself. Breathe. In and out.
Why are we in such a hurry?
We need to get out of this place. Did you get everything?
Ashton is spooked. He is shooked.
Yeah, it's all here. But really, you don't look too good. What's wrong, Ash?
I'll be fine. I was in the security room. From the monitors, there's a fucking...
The rest of what I'm about to say dies on my tongue when the elevator stops and the doors open too. There's a moment of pause while we both take in our surroundings. Confusion's understandably there.
Oh, come on! They should just replace this whole thing.
Oh shit, it's not over yet, boys.
No, I'm quite sure I pressed for the ground floor.
Right? But it's just as Isabella said. The elevator always did have problems when I visited in the past. Often she becomes so angry whenever we try to get to her floor, and she'll have to repeatedly smash the button for the elevator to even move. Well, that was always good for a laugh. I wasn't too worried then. Now, from the distance beyond the light's reach, the noise echoes in my ears along with the rapid pounding in my chest. Isabella stiffens and her eyes grow wide at the sound. Oh, they're seeing it at the same time now. Hey! Gingerly, she reaches up to grab the hem of my sleeve and grips it hard, tight enough for her fingernails to dig through. Her eye searches wildly for the source of the sound, while I stand protectively in front of her.
Ash, did you hear that?
Anyone there?
Oh, come on, Ash. You know full well what the fuck that is. Stop playing macho.
I can hear you moving from here. Show yourself.
No response. No response. Only the soft sound of something scurrying around the floor and the walls in slow, deliberate movements. Faint, though still audible enough in this edge. Like this. Something like that. Until it stops. A moment.
We need to go, Ash. We have to.
And then, this time, I'm certain it isn't. Yeah, it isn't my imagination. Fuck it. Against my training, my whole body freezes. Hands still mid-press on the button. Eyes growing wide while waiting for any sort of movement from further back. And ears strained for the source of the sound. I can't even offer Isabella any reassurances. Much as I hate to admit it, dread has seeped into every nerve in my body. Oh, God! And the blasted elevator still won't work. Come on! God damn it!
This isn't in my fucking training manual!
Oh, fuck your training, Ash!
Ash, we need to leave. I know that sound. Ash, please, get the elevator!
Another series of shuffling against the ground, a laughter, and all of a sudden, she's just there! She's right there, guys! You see that shit? Oh, God! Like a twisted spider, she stares at us, a look of hunger in her eyes and venom in the twisted manner she smiles. A glee she has well earned, while we're damn flies that has been dropped right under her fucking spider's web.
Ashton!
I know! Shut the fuck up!
Damn it! Damn it!
Without warning, she moves, mocking me with each unhurried crawl she takes, knowing I'm at her mercy.
Fucking hell!
Ashton, the door! The door!
Hold the door! Our lives are in the hands of a crummy elevator, literally hanging between life and death. We're not going to die here. Yeah, of course not. Not in the damn elevator! Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, shit. 4, 6, 1, 9, 3. Oh, God. 3, 8, 2, 1, 5. Oh, my God. 7, 8, 4, 5, 1. Oh, my fucking God. 2, 9, 8, 3, 7. Oh, fuck me! 6, 4, 1, 9, 2. Woo! Fuck! Oh my God! Shit! Beast mode indeed! As if divine power has heard me swearing up a storm in my head. The doors close just as that thing looms near. Soon, the elevator, the blasted thing, is headed up. Isabella's knees buckle in relief. In 2 ticks, she's hugging herself without any care for the mess of papers and folders she has dropped on the floor in her panic. I hate elevators. This is like the same thing that happened a while ago during the inpatient. Fuck! God damn it. She draws in one ragged breath after another, each one brimming with nothing but relief. And this is the most I've been tired my whole damn life. Huh? Not during training when my superior first asked me to drop 100. Not even after a stakeout. But after smashing a fucking elevator button repeatedly. I slumped to the ground beside her, worn out, but I don't let myself feel relief again. Not until we're out of here. Isabella seems to be of the same mind as she looks to me. Still, I find myself sharing a shaky laugh with her.
We're okay. We're fine. Right?
Yeah, we're good. Alive.
So, Ashton, do you still need any proof or explanations about the ghost bitch? I guess not. Alright.
Fuck, we should have taken the goddamn stairs.
Oh, fuck yeah. Twice. I've seen it. Thrice, if I include the party, unless I'm tripping balls without realizing it. There's no doubt in my mind that this is actually happening. I don't want to believe it, but with the truth staring at me in the face, it will be stupidity to deny the reality of the matter. As soon as the lift hits the ground floor, we hightail out of the building. Seb's sound asleep when we pass by his station. However, in the face of what we've seen, everything I've faced tonight, we really can't care less who will still see us on our way out. The sooner we get away from this place, the farther the better. I'm just not sure if that's also, if that also means being safe. She almost got us, damn it. That fucking thing almost had us. Shit, it was only by luck that we managed to get the fucking elevator unstuck. Had the blasted thing not work in the last second. I need some fresh air, fresh, breathable air that doesn't stink like death and gore all at once. I'm panicking. Christ, losing focus. With another person here, I can't afford that right now. Isabella hasn't said anything, but I know she's more shaken than I am. Can't lose it when another person's depending on me.
Remember your training, Frey.
Exactly, Frey. Another deep breath, and soon I'm starting the engines and driving us off. After that little incident, somewhere upon will be good. Somewhere I won't get trapped. Yep. And that is the park. There you go. Luxburn Park. Luxburn Park brings a welcome relief. Though, only by some. Yes. The chill that has seeped in my bones is still there, furling and unfurling underneath my skin. If I don't move, if I don't busy myself with anything, soon my brain will go haywire. It's the last thing I want to happen when there are plenty of things to do. But this already answers all of it, doesn't it? Just how many copies of the letter are out there? Isabella can't have the only one if other people are also getting cursed. Could it be that the one she has shown us is just one of 5? Maybe even more? That whole pass this to 5 people business is ridiculous, but at this point, is it still? All in all, we found 21 people who might have read the letter. 7 of them deceased, 8 if we count Cooper. And that's only with what we can find right now. We have no idea how the contractors and specialists hired from outside the company are doing, if we are in any way affected. How many people are suffering? How many are missing? How many are dead? Can I still even blame the Wrights for this? If anything, they might be in danger as well. I don't think I can wish a curse upon anyone, no matter how big of a douchebag Luke Wright is. There's also that woman. How do we get out of this mess? How do we get away from her? Shit. Well, still so many things we need to look into. Yet all my body wants to do is pace, burn out whatever excess energy there is in me.
Ashton, I'm getting dizzy. Will you sit down?
It's the first time Isabella has said anything. She's been sitting quietly since we dropped here. Better and less distracting than watching her nervous habits, I suppose. She certainly seems calm now. Too calm, in fact, for someone who's just seen something terrible. I guess she's just used to it, right? But it's been more than a week for her already. People do get desensitized to things at some point. Even someone like Isabella, who knows what's going on inside her head, though. I mean, who knows what's going on inside her head, though? Inside mine, there are too many, and none of them would sit still.
I'm not going crazy, am I? I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I didn't inhale anything weird. Just shit. Shit.
Yeah, boy.
Isabella, please tell me that wasn't...
What I'm not expecting when I turn to her is mirth. One that she could barely contain.
You're laughing.
Why are you laughing? Oh my god. She's considering this as if it's a good thing, because now Ashton believes her. You know what? Frankly, I would smirk as well, you know.
You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Exactly. I'm not quite sure what she sees in my face, but in the next second, a laugh suddenly bursts out from her. Why is she laughing? What the fuck? I'm so sorry. It's just that you should have seen the look on your face back there. Yes, right, sure. I'm not the one who panicked. You almost ripped my arm. Why are they not speaking? Why are they not voice acting this? God damn it, alright. Yeah, but... Isabella, this isn't funny. That woman almost got us. We could have ended up dead.
I know. I'm really sorry.
Why is she laughing? Although, it is kinda... kinda funny.
But this is just too precious to miss. You really lost your shit for a moment there.
And you find it amusing. You were right there with me, Isabella. You were about to... We could have died, you know?
You're trying to get back at me, aren't you?
Well, I'm not the one who kept calling someone scaredy cat for years. How does it feel?
Yep, she's definitely gloating.
I'm not scared.
Really? Because it doesn't seem that way to me. At all.
She's enjoying
I'm not,
this.
alright? I'm just... I just don't know what to do right now.
Immediately after the moment passes, replaced by another tense silence. Laughter dies in her lips as everything sinks in. We're in deep shit! And it has finally caught up and hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit me more than anyone, actually. Because she has been warning us of this since day 1, and I'm the first person who brushed it off. Despite that, she still reaches out to me, tugging at my sleeve, almost desperately. Her hands are trembling, and there's a tremor in her voice when she speaks. Without the cheer, only fear remains. One that she has been burdened with from the beginning.
We're still going to do something about it, right? Not just stand around and let that thing get us.
Unexpectedly, she leans her forehead against my arm, and her grip on my sleeve tightens. There's desperation in there, a quiet plea.
I don't want to lose anyone anymore, Ash.
I wish I could give her that promise, but with so many unknowns, so many things I don't understand about this, how could I? Why she still trusts that I can do something about this baffles me. It all feels wholly undeserved, considering the way I've treated her. Yet, despite my reluctance, I find myself returning her hold in kind. A grasp, warm and light enough for comfort. Not a promise, but the closest thing to it. October 30, Sunday. What's happening? Darkness blurs the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me, apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Morning breaks in a blurry mess of vivid shapes and colors, and this is where we are going to stop this freaking episode. Ha ha! Yeah! Whew, I guess that's... What, we've been streaming it for like almost 2 hours straight, I guess? Hey, that was nice. 3 hours straight. Hey, 3 hours straight! Wow, this covered a lot of episodes. I'm not, for the YouTube peeps, I'm not sure what episode we are or what episode you guys are watching, but thank you for sticking up this long, guys. That was fun. That was really fun. For the Twitch peeps, hey, what's up, guys? You guys are still awake as well. Oop, sorry. What the fuck is this? Nani? I'm gonna save it here. Okay, I'm gonna freaking save it here. Boop. There you go. So yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna stop my stream of the letter for here, guys. I mean, just right here. Okay, I think we've experienced our fair share of horrors for one night, and my throat is dying. Okay, my throat is dying. I can't even read stuff properly anymore. Jeez, guy, I read boredom to bedroom, for fuck's sake. Okay, but it's pretty nice to see all the events that transpired, you know, during our stream. So that's cool. So I'm glad you guys had fun. So anyway, for the YouTube peeps, thank you for supporting the series. I'm definitely gonna continue this as frequently as I can, so that we can finish this and get on with our lives and stuff like that. And for the Twitch peeps, thank you for sticking out this long and this late at night. Alright, it's almost 3 a.m. actually. So anyway, YouTube peeps, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys again in the next episode. Goodbye. Twitch peeps, stay